What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. It is happy hour here Monday night. Oh, where's the camera at? Having some Jack and Coke. We got some wine. Goldwyn, what are you drinking over there?
Vodka cran.
Okay.
In honor of Thomas Nye, the wine guy, I got to get some wine out. I mean, come on, what am I doing?
Man,
you got
Mason
some wine,
Mason Double OG is gonna be a little hurt.
Yeah, he was drinking H2O on the rocks last week. He went to go get some wine? Is that what he did?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, welcome back to the show. We've got Crypto TN in the house tonight. What's going on, man? You go by Tom, right? Or Crypto TN? How do you want me to say it?
Fine. Yeah, Tom is fine. Yeah, no, man, I'm happy to be here. A great thing that you guys are doing. I'm really happy to see you take this on. We need things like this, and I like the casual nature of it. That's really cool. I like what you guys are doing. So thank you for having me on.
What is that? Is that a giant rat in the background?
Is that his
got
dog?
a dog? I didn't even know he had a dog. That's pretty cool. Where'd he go, man? He should have been having this wine ready to go. Where did you go, my friend?
Nice.
Cheers. Had to open a bottle up real quick, get a little sip. Yeah. Cheers to Thomas on the show.
There we go.
This is a little Moscato, a little sweet, little Moscato white wine. Cheers.
All right. Hey, just as a heads up, I'm pretty congested, so I'm also drinking a hot toddy at the same time. We got a little rum and tea.
Ooh.
Nice.
Sounds both a good evening drink, but also, like you said, a healing one too. Warm for the throat.
So, Tom, how did you get into crypto? How did you get started in this journey of blockchain?
Well, so I mean, I'm from technology. That's what I used to do. Is back when I'm going to age myself, when the internet was just kind of starting up, I was really in on all that. A lot of startup companies. I was writing code for a little bit, not very well, but I was managing data centers and large IT teams, and that's kind of where my career was. So I always had some technology in my background that I loved. I've always kind of followed my passions. There came a point where I just kind of got out of that and thought I'd start a winery. It was another passion of mine, was drinking. And so I figured, I'd get right into making wine. And it was a real, I taught myself to make the wine. I made a lot of bad wine up front. My wife and I started the winery out in New Jersey and, made a lot of mistakes up front and started hearing about crypto, I'd say about, 7 years ago. And I started and boy, I could kick myself. BT talks all the time about how he was mining Bitcoin all the way back then and didn't really keep it. For me, I regret just not sticking with crypto, but I started kind of hearing about it and just doing the normal buy Bitcoin and Ethereum and that type of thing. And gave up, sold everything. And then about maybe 3 years ago, started really hearing about DeFi and really kind of sucked me back in because, before it was just more like trading stocks, right? Owning Bitcoin and Ethereum and just trying to hit the moonshot. It's kind of like the stock game. So for me, it was nice, but it didn't really do much for me. It was kind of like nothing that too much excited me. It's when I realized DeFi and smart contracts and when I realized what could now be done, that's what really struck me. I mean, it just, to me, it was the internet all over again. I view blockchain technology today as in the infancy phase. I view it as the same way that I viewed the internet when, people were first starting talking about websites. And my view back then was, I have no idea how this is going to change the world, but I do know it's going to. And I feel the same way about blockchain technology. I think in smart contracts, I don't know if we can wrap our heads around exactly what this is going to do. I don't think it's going to do what most people think it is, which is, Bitcoin become, the average person is like, well, is Bitcoin going to become the currency? And I don't think that's actually it. What I really see is the tokenization of everything. And that to me is what fascinates me, is the decentralized nature of owning your own things, and that to me is where I see, and I can't quite figure out where that's all going to go, but you could certainly see a day where people buy a house in the blockchain, and your house is actually on the blockchain, and you sell it on the block, and you can certainly see things like that. So that's kind of my journey. You know, I was in and out for a while, but it really captured me about 3 years ago, where I said, okay, this is going to change the world, and I went in on this. I'm not missing this one. You know, it's kind of our last stand. You know, in the internet, I did well, but I probably should have done a lot better. But I was young. I made a lot of mistakes. I'm not like Zach, a boy genius that like makes money before he's 20. So
trying to spread the wealth to help the next Zach or next Thomas right now, trying to up and come in crypto, right? Make the right choices, right?
How old are you now, Zach?
I am 27. My birthday was yesterday.
Oh wow! Happy birthday!
Oh, happy birthday!
Thank you,
That's
thank you guys.
Yeah.
Toast to that.
Toast to that.
27. With that too, Thomas, I was going to ask, what was the first crypto that you bought besides Bitcoin? I'm assuming Bitcoin may have been the first. It may not have been. But what was the first one that made you venture outside of Bitcoin, which is predominantly what majority of people who get into crypto, they hear about Bitcoin, they hear about crypto. What was the first project or coin outside of Bitcoin that you got involved in?
So, I mean, I had Bitcoin, Ethereum, I think Solana I may have had. What I was really trying to do was devise a plan to hit the moonshot. So what I was doing was putting $50 towards 100 different projects to try to hit the moonshot. You know what I mean? Like I was trying to find, okay, which one's trending today? I'm going to put $50 for that one. I was playing, and, I got bored of that really quick. That to me was boring, and which is why I kind of got out of it, because to me, that really wasn't, exciting for me. But, when I found kind of DeFi, and everything changed. So the first project I jumped in on was Thor. I don't know if anybody remembers that. It was a node Ponzi project that, man, I was so close to glory with that.
So close.
I was, man. I aped in big time. I threw like $35,000 in.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, yeah, my first thing. And I just went nuts.
So would that be your first rug? Well, it didn't rug at first, right? I was going good, I'm assuming.
Well, it didn't rug. They're still alive, believe it or not. But I was literally 8 days away from making $180,000. It was just booming.
God.
Thor was going bonkers. It was the biggest thing in DeFi at that time.
It was huge. I did a lot of research into it.
It was really nice. And I was days away, and I was on vacation. I'll never forget. They changed everything. Obviously, they changed the reward rate and everything. And I remember thinking to myself, like, can they do that? But it's, it was DeFi and it's crypto, and that can happen. And, I didn't know what a Ponzi, I didn't really understand the Ponzi-nomics of it all back then. But, they're still alive. They've tried to reinvent themselves into a blockchain now. They're doing gaming blockchain. So I still have a lot of nodes. I didn't get killed in it. I made back about half my money. And it allowed me to invest in other things and find things like Elephant. So, I mean, I was in about 30 different projects. Wow. And slowly when I found Elephant, I just started selling off one by one and putting everything back into Elephant.
Same here. I've had about like 6 or 7 cryptos that I was really heavy in, and Elephant's been my number one. And now I think I've got XRP, and I still have that, and that's because it's locked up and a website that I can't get into. So
I like XRP. I mean, I think I think it's manipulated, but I actually wish I had some of that. I think it has a chance to do something. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I like it. I'm a believer.
I think that they did very well positioning themselves. They were pretty smart on what they attacked and where they put themselves.
I don't think it'll go over $10 though. Everyone's talking these moonshots, but
I think it depends. I mean, if it does, I mean, at this point, XRP probably has a better chance of becoming the world currency than Bitcoin. Because
they have something right about each one teach one with XRP Army. I'm not sure what exactly it is, but they have a very energetic community. And now with this win with the SEC, I know it's still all like in the works, but with that under their sail as well, I think going into the bull run, I personally am not a XRP holder. Everyone has their own coins they like and such, but I think they will do well. I think just like with in the coming bull run, it has the right community. The tokenomics aren't the best from what I've seen, but it has the right energy behind it. It's very motivating to see that you can build a community that excited. It reminds me of like the Pulse chain or like the Hex community. Those are very exciting and things that I think even the elephant money community could learn from, right? Certain aspects of them, good and bad, right? But yeah, that's cool. Would you say there's any rugs that come to mind out of those 30 projects you were putting like $50 in here and there? I mean, or weeks get by where you would try to go to the site and it just wasn't the 404 and no website exists?
So the most brutal. Oh yeah, I got a brutal story, man. The worst one I did, and my wife still doesn't let me forget this. So Kubo. Did you remember hearing about Kubo?
I heard that one. Yeah, I think of Kubota, which is like an engineering firm, right? Kubota. Have you heard of that one? Anyway,
no. This was another node.
It was a cube one. It was another node project, right? Was it Polygon?
Yeah, exactly.
I recall. Yeah.
So it was blowing up, guys. This thing it was insane. The amount of money people were making in this. And I'm like, I'm dying, like inside every day. I'm grinding to get into Cuba for at least 2 months. Finally, I convinced my wife while we're on vacation, I'm like, listen, just give me 15,000, and I'm going to turn this over really quick. Put in on vacation, put in 15,000. The next day, they announced a major cut in rewards, and it crashed to zero, man.
The very next day.
The next day. And his past 3 AMAs, the guy was like, we're never changing the rewards. The past 3 AMAs, he came out and said that. And the day after I put in $15,000, it was gone, man. That was.
Oh my gosh, that's brutal.
That's a rug right there, just straight up. The day of, you got all the, how we all know the intricacies of moving funds, and then you get it all set up. Zoom. Man, that's a rough one there. You took that stripe on your belt. You earned that stripe, that patch on your.
Well, you know what it was? It was the last time that I invested in anything else but elephant, to be honest with you. I mean, that to me was kind of like I was just looking at elephant at that time. And, it's when I finally had I needed to lose a lot of money. Apparently I needed to figure out, what it is exactly that is, what's sustainable, what's not. I'm in a lot of good projects that are still around today. That was the worst rug I was in. The one universe one. Remember that one? The universe. Planets, stuff like that. That was my other rug. None of the other ones rugged. They just went to nothing, right?
Yeah.
As some of them do. But yeah, it's I used to think, and that was when I was in this space, I thought I was smart. I said, I'm going to diversify into all these different projects. And that was the mistake. And I remember saying after Kubo and after finding elephant, I said, you know what? Diversification is not the key. The key is to get into the right one. And that is really, I think, get into something you really understand and know that it's the right one. And for me, it was then a process over time of, getting out of everything and kind of really going all in on elephant. And you know what, man, it has saved my entire portfolio. I am way up. And
that's a great conclusion to that story of your current adventure so far. That's a great to hear that, elephant has been so strong. And I just wanted to point out, like you're mentioning, right, diversification, it's preached a lot, but a lot of these crypto startups, they are low liquidity startups. And that's something that Elephant Money excels at by not being a low liquidity startup. It has a ton of liquidity, and this allows it to, persist during these market cycles. So a lot of these, like you're mentioning, they great ideas, great momentum, great tokenomics, or whatever it may be, but the lack of liquidity and that lack of sustainability ultimately, like you said, dries up the token to zero, and it makes capital flow to where it's treated better, where, like, I'm sure a lot of people are in your shoes. They found elephant and were able to say, hey, I actually have a place, a home where I can park my gains. I can build a portfolio. It's not like you're saying, I'm sure it's fun. It is a gamification of it, having 50 different projects and you're going and learning all the dApps. And I really enjoy learning about the different UIs. Like you mentioned Kubo, thought they had a really good UI, which is so important. And it just is, it's exciting. It's fun, but then it's not fun a month or two later when all the money is down and you're like, what's happening? And it really lets you like you said, see the diamonds in the rough, they come to light. And ultimately let you get involved deeper into something like elephant money. So the cream rises to the top, right? Those old expressions. That's where it's the same thing. Yeah.
Liquidity, it's really, and I didn't know that back then, but liquidity was everything. Here's another really cool kind of crypto story. I got in on the pre-sale of Sphere. I don't know if you ever heard of Sphere Finance.
Yeah. I was this close from getting into that.
So I got in, I almost got 4,000 in. I got 2,000 in on the pre-sale. And I think within, I don't know, 45 days, it was $270,000. Okay.
Oof.
And I didn't sell. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And I'm thinking I'm winning, right? You know, and then I go to bed, I'm going to bed at night. They have this big AMA and it's skyrocketing. And I'm like, man, I think I'm going to pull some money out tomorrow and see what happens. That night, I woke up in the morning and it was gone. Like it was just gone. Like it just stunned me that you could lose that much money that quickly. But, you know, compare that to what happened with Elephant. You know, we had the big sell off at the end of September, October there, and it didn't kill us at all. It's not even close.
It's a dent,
you know?
yeah.
No.
That's the big difference. That is the difference right there. No other project would have survived. Well, no other project has gone up like Elephant, right? I mean, it just keeps going up and up and up. No one has that kind of rise. It's always going to have some retracement, but no other project could have survived the level of volume of dollars that exited the project, except Elephant. And that's really, you know, when you say liquidity, that's everything, right? I mean, it's we're in something that's for the long term, and we can still see Bertha growing on top of all of that. So it's very, very different than your typical crypto project, which, you know, what people do is they see it go high and they crash it. They just sell. They're getting out. They're going to get out before it dumps.
Yep.
And that's kind of the mentality that's out there that I didn't understand at that time. But with Elephant, I don't have to have that mentality. I can just hold because I can see Bertha still growing.
Yeah, one of the best things I like about the community is how much I've learned from everybody. You know, because like you said earlier, diversification has always been preached. I found Elephant actually before Drip. I found them both about the same time. I entered Elephant before Drip. And then I did a lot of research on Drip before I jumped in. And I only jumped in because I wanted to diversify from Elephant, you know, and if I would have just put that same amount of money that I put into Drip into Elephant, I'd have literally 100 billion more Elephant, you know, at that time. And, you know, I mean, I still had a big bag of Elephant. I still have a big bag of Elephant. So at that time in my mind, I'm like, ooh, I'm diversifying to be safe, you know, and Drip's going to go back up. And I didn't understand tokenomics. I didn't understand liquidity, you know, and I didn't understand where the money really is held. And, you know, people like Mike Dre, which I wish would come on the show.
Yeah, I tried to.
Let's go, Mike. Come on, your shout out.
Everybody's trying to get Mike on.
Listen, Mike Dre, I've learned a lot from Mike's post, and you know, shout out to Mike Dre. But
yeah, BT has made that comment before, like hanging out in the Elephant Money community in the Telegram. You really get a masterclass in finance as you watch these videos, you know, Bailey's videos. If you read Patrick Cryptozoa's articles, you watch these Rug to Riches, you start putting, you know, all the neurons start adding, you know, making connections, and you start putting the pieces together and really see what this kind of community bank that's, you know, arising right now, why it's different than XYZ, than Drip, than another. And, you know, they're saying the same thing, Goldwyn. I know it's just in my head, I'm thinking the same things of all of the, you know, I was particularly interested in like Avalanche and emerging DeFi protocols there, because I thought Avalanche, you know, is an up and coming chain, etc. And I had a lot of diversification within DeFi and Avalanche, whereas, like you said, I have a few hundred billion bag of Elephant, right? And it's a few $1,000s at the time, right? You know, same thing. You know, I'm worrying about and trying to focus on these projects that lack liquidity capture, you know, value capture. And, you know, it wasn't until me getting more heavily involved in the Elephant Money and really, like you said, you know, learning of what makes it tick and why others fall short. So I feel like, yeah, I feel it right there, Goldwyn, when he made that point. You know, I feel that so much.
You know, what was another game-changing moment for me was I found Drip early on. I lost plenty in Drip. I got killed, like all of us did. But what struck me,
I never bought one. Sorry, go ahead.
What's that? You didn't get into that?
I never bought Drip. No, I have a quick story if you don't mind me interrupting.
Yeah,
go ahead.
One of a client, like a referral of a friend of a client of mine, met me at a Dunkin' Donuts when Drip was $5 and told me his friend told him about Drip, and he knew me. I was doing crypto stuff. He's
$5 the first time or the second time?
The first time.
Ooh.
The first run up, yeah. And then like probably a month goes by, I see Crypto Slow start posting videos and other, you know, people. But like I never touched it just because like I didn't know. And then also, yeah, I just, you know, the tokenomics of it, I just didn't, you know, I didn't get my hand wet into it. I saw it go to 20, 100 and etc. then go back. And I just was able to fortunately dodge that bullet and had, I didn't get involved with any of Forex's projects. I was able to build my elephant position in that time and Stampede and such. But sorry to interrupt, Thomas. Go ahead.
No, but it's a good point, because what struck me about Drip, and again, I found Thor and Drip right at the same time. Okay. And what really struck me about Drip, and it really is what kind of ignited everything inside of me: 3 simple contracts on the blockchain. That's what it was. And I didn't even know it was BT's code at the time. I didn't know. I just found but I couldn't sleep at night because I'm like, these are just contracts running on a blockchain. Like, that to me was game changing. Now, I didn't understand the problems with inflation, right? I didn't understand the hyperinflation issue that obviously it would end up causing. But what it really struck me and ignited my imagination and really my love for this field was the understanding that these are software contracts just running on a blockchain, no human intervention. And that to me was amazing, and that lit something in me, it really did. And so I give it that. And now I know it's BT's code. So,
BT lit the DeFi fire in you. Like you said, like it ultimately was that code. But no, I get the same goosebumps on the back of my neck when you speak about it, because I share the same passion and like enthusiasm, because it's so fascinating, this powerful technology, and just like you said, get your mind going of how what this offers humanity, and what this distribution of wealth, what this global financial kind of emerging economy is creating. It just shows you just what the next kind of evolution of finance. We're at this forefront of it, and we're lucky to be part of something like Elephant Money that's once again pushing the boundaries, just like Drip was pushing the boundaries, of what smart contracts can do. Look where we're at today with all the innovation. So yeah, man, I share that passion.
Sure.
BT made some pretty cool stuff with code. Code is very, very impressive. Yeah.
Everyone keeps talking about each one teach one, but I think the best method of each one teach one is when we probably do another 10x from here. When we do a 10x from here, I think everyone will be having lots of money. Everyone's going to have some fun. And then everyone else on the outside is going to be like, what are you doing? How do I get into that? So we've started that little phase, but I think 10x from here, which I think is possible in the next, I don't know, probably 6 months. What do you think?
Man, go ahead. Yeah, I want to touch one real quick thing. When he mentioned about blowing on the price and it will go up, I mean, that's spot on. If you watch the Dune Analytics dashboard and you watch the liquidity pool, right, we're hovering at around 100 trillion tokens in the LPs combined. But man, Bertha's growing as we watch, but we're hovering around that zone. But it doesn't take much. We're 98, 97, 90, right? We're draining down. And that price, like you're mentioning, AG, it's so sensitive. So, I mean, it all just depends on volume and et cetera. But it's definitely very sensitive. I'm very excited. It's like a gasoline fire, and we just keep throwing a little match here and there, but it's ready. The bonfire is ready. But Thomas, go ahead.
Do you think we'll have some big fireworks by the end of the year?
It always goes back dependent on the herd, right? The herd makes or breaks this, and takes, it's taken a year. It could take a day, right? It's all dependent on mechanical action. And so, it just all dependent. If BNB starts kind of helping out a little bit, maybe that will excite the herd and more help with buying. But ultimately, like when I go back to Bertha's looking at about 200 trillion at Christmas, if she stays at her current buying, pressure. But like BT has mentioned, it's all dependent on Bertha dominating, right? She owns more than all humans, than all any person could dump. So like I said, I'm not a trader, so maybe a trader could do it better, but I just know Bertha's buying, and it just all dependent on the LPs getting drained. And
what do you think, Tom?
I think if you follow the current path of where we're going, of how many trillions of tokens are going into Bertha at the current pace, you're about right, I think, in 6 months that Bertha's dominant at that stage. I mean, now you're talking that it is massive price appreciation, because it's going to have, over 220 trillion tokens. I mean, so when you look at that, if you just look at the current pace, but that doesn't take into effect if BNB goes nuts and starts going up, or if, and personally in my mind, what you're going to see as soon as the price kind of gets to close to where we were before, it's going to go bonkers again, because people are going to realize you can't kill this. right? So that there's going to come a point where all the people that sold are going to say, "Oh no, I shouldn't have done that," and so you could have the whole FOMO thing take it even faster. But I think if you just want to be super conservative and you just want to look at the current rate that we're going, the current futures growth rate, and if you look at all of that, to me, it points to like an April to June, madness again. But it could certainly happen a lot faster. It really just depends.
April.
I think April to June. I do think that, but we'll see what happens.
I know that we've been talking about the second flippening, but I don't think that that's going to be as big as what people say. The real flippening is when Bertha has more than the LPs and the humans. And the reason I say that is because now if all of the humans dump, it doesn't matter. Bertha still owns more than everybody. So all the humans can dump, and Bertha still is heavier than the LPs and the humans. So whereas I think, as those goalposts goes, the second flippening is going to be great. And the only problem with that goalpost is if the humans get greedy, they can catch up. So
that's true.
One thing I was going to pull up here. This is one of the tables that Bailey from EMH had created regarding the elephant LP and the corresponding elephant price. And right now, like Thomas was mentioning, if 6 months from now, Bertha's at 220, which would be an addition of, she's at 192 right now. Is that right? What is she at? 190?
Yeah, right around there. Yep.
So that would be 20, right? 20. I'm sorry. What was that? How much?
A little over 192. Yeah.
192. Okay. So let's just call it 8 trillion to 200 plus the other 20. So an additional 28 trillion. If we take that out of circulation and put it in Bertha's hands, right, that brings the LPs down to that, 72 trillion or so. If we take 28 from 100, my math serves me right. And at that 72 trillion, right, that's where just this table is a bit dated with a price of BNB $215, but that comes out to a elephant price of 77 cents per million, which would be basically about a 1.5x, a 2x from here. So it all just depends. Like we're talking about, if Bertha has bought 20 trillion tokens over the next 6 months, I think the herd humans, as they see the price marches up, right, they may have bought additional 20 trillion, maybe match kind of the volume. So it just, like I said, we can do different kind of projections.
What is the price right now?
40 cents
per million.
Yeah, about 40 cents.
And don't forget that what kicked off this last run were the NFTs. I mean, the NFTs are what kicked that off. It's going to happen again. And as soon as it gets to like the 5,000-6,000 mark, I think it goes bonkers again. Yep. So that's why I say you could kind of have this run again before June, even though we're at this current rate, because you can't anticipate what human holders are going to do. And my feeling is the NFTs are probably going to be the catalyst again. Whenever that happens, whenever that is probably going to be what kicks off this next run. But personally, I think we go crazy in 2000. By the time 2025 hits, I think this thing is bonkers. I really do.
So what is bonkers to you?
Bonkers to me is a 10, at least a 50x, I mean, I think that
a 50x will put me at $3 million. Total transparency. You can do the math, figure out where I'm at.
In my mind, I don't know where the 50x. 50x gets me to about 5. So yeah,
nice.
I'm all right with that. But I think when the 10x happens, guys, I think the thing that no one really thinks about is the stampede now comes into effect. And by the way, we don't have the 10x for that to happen.
That is that is the number one thing that I am constantly waiting for, because at the end of the day, will I sell my elephant? Probably not. But the stampede that I've built up, I'm ready. Where's this 10x? Come on, BT.
A lot of us are right there. If my stampedes are made active again, by that 10x of Bertha, I don't have to sell my elephant. Okay.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's and my futures will be built up a little bit by then too. But keep in mind, Bertha grows faster than the token price. It does a multiple on what it gets. So a 10x in Bertha is not a 10x in our price. A 10x in Bertha is different. But I believe that once that happens, it kicks off the next 10 to 20x, because think of all the new players that are now in depositing money. Okay, with Stampede, it changes the game. I mean, it opens up right now. Imagine if we had 10,000 futures users. Well, you make Stampede live, you're going to be at 20 to 30,000 people, okay, depositing every month. That's insane.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think that the players that are in Stampede, do you think they just sell, or do you think they actually were like, wow, this thing came back and now I really am making what I got?
You can't sell all at once anyways.
Well, no, but I mean, somebody that has 100,000 can sell what, 5,000 a day.
Well, for sure. I mean, I think off the bat, guys, once we get that 10 peg is reached, right? Think about how it's going to happen. And to me, this is where the redemption queue just kind of blows me away, right? So as we start leading up to the peg returning, people are going to sell along the way. They're going to people that won't believe it. They're going to sell it and dump their bags at 50 cents, at 75 cents, at 80 cents. But I think that when I have a worry, it's that, okay, all this trunk, hundreds of thousands of trunk, are people just going to cash out at that moment and kind of tap Bertha? Well, they might. That is possible. But, people are going to be so excited about all the different products you can put this into. I mean, you're a fool if you're not putting your money. If you have trunk right now, a lot of trunk, and you're not putting into Trumpet, you're making the biggest mistake there is in the ecosystem. I don't like to talk about trunk and Trumpet much because it doesn't help us at all get to that being relevant, right? But
we're not one of those shows, Tom. You could talk about trunk on our show. All
right, cool. Yeah, no, I mean, Trumpet is ridiculous. I got a lot of trunk in there, and I can't wait. And I'm not touching it. I'm not touching that for at least a year or two. I'm not touching it. I'm going to let that thing grow. And, once Bertha starts buying trunk, minting Trumpet, burning Trumpet, it's sick. Think about that. When Bertha 10X is in the amount that it's going to be buying, Trumpet will be literally doing its own. I think it's going to have its own parabola. I think Trumpet will actually become one of the biggest stars in the entire ecosystem. That's what I think of Trumpet. I think Trumpet's amazing.
Right.
I want to pivot off that. Yeah, I agree. It's definitely something not spoken about much, but if you pull up the Dune Analytics, I think it's like 1,700 participants right now. And as you know, there's that 5% enter and exit minting and redeeming the Trumpet token. And with just, this very early participation, I mean, Elephant, you're just as early, but on that similar note within the ecosystem, right? Trumpet, you're so early, like Thomas is saying, as Bertha scales, she's bringing in the hundreds of thousands of dollars into this one box. And yeah, just the Trumpet's ratio to trunk redemption, it's just going to go insane. And kind of like you're saying, Tom, like I think another, people who miss the 50x of Elephant, there will be a 50x for Trumpet. There's going to be they're going to be happening course at the same time too. It might be a 20x Elephant and Trumpet's up 18x, 7x or whatever. So, and like you're mentioning it, just that FOMO excitement. Now people are going to be boasting about how much they're making, telling their friend, and confidently each one teaching one. And it's like, we talk about where better else are you going to take your money? You're going to take that $100,000 you're printing and go dump it in. People they'll go try to chase things and lose it. And they'll come back, a year later and say, dang, if I just kept this. But that's stuff like futures that helps you win, forces you to win, and stuff like, Trumpet, where you can build a position and take off as needed. But no, I'm a big fan of Trumpet. I think the cash flow from that, it's very nice. And having Bertha being the biggest feeder of it is just, you can't ask for better. It's like having a best allowance, right? Your dad or mom gives you piggy bank on the Sunday, clean the house, right? It's Bertha giving you her allowance of everything she's, profited a portion of it of her revenue. But,
okay, so there's a 10% tax on Trumpet, 5 in and 5 out. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, and right now it's probably what someone said that earlier or a couple weeks ago. It's like 100%.
It's around 80 to 90% right now. APY.
Oh yeah,
APY. Okay, so I know farms is kind of low. It's like I don't know. It's like maybe 30% APY right now. What is your take on that? Because I feel like that might be a better play.
Yeah.
Hold on. I have a rebuttal to Alan, because I watched the show from last week where he called me out for selling my farm to go into Trumpet and to NFTs. And I would like to say...
It wasn't Trumpet. I thought you sold it all for NFTs.
Okay, what I did is I had a B&B farm. So I broke it apart. B&B bought NFTs. I bought 10. So the first day or whatever it was, I bought 10 from the farm, and that trunk went into Trumpet. That Trumpet is worth 2x right now.
Yep.
So I'm up
smartest
100% on that trunk, where you're at 30% on the same amount in the same amount of time.
Yep.
So
selling my
whereas
smartest thing I ever did. Smartest thing I ever did. I did the same thing you did. I liquidated I was a whale in farms, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to kill it here. You know what? The smartest thing I did was sell off everything and take all the BUSD and BNB and buy NFTs and take all my trunk and put it all into Trumpet. And it was the smartest move I made in this entire system. And I think it was EMH, who we should give a shout out to, man. That guy changed everything for me, you know, in terms of his videos. For me, that's where I got in deep and said, okay, I understand this and I see where this is going. And, you know, for him, that's when I put in really even more money, you know, was watching his videos. But he was the first one to say, liquidate your farms, go into get your NFTs. He was totally right, man. That is the smart move. And it still is, even at 2 BNB right now, with it being as cheap as it is. That is a move. Get into Trumpet and get your NFTs before they go to 4. And I can't, you know, I'm happy I did it down 1.
So what price do you think Trumpet will be? Like $10? You're looking at?
Oh, I think easily at some point. I honestly, you know, I've put in about I think I've put in about 30,000 trunk in there, and I'm not touching it for a long time until it's over 200,000-300,000. I'm not touching it. I'm just gonna let it sit in there, and it is the easiest moneymaker, and it's sustainable for the system. I mean, it is the best contract in this entire ecosystem in my mind.
Really?
It's just hard to talk about because it doesn't do us any good right now, right? You know, I mean, it does us a lot better when we're at PEG. So
Well,
I don't talk about it much, but it is a smart.
We don't talk about it, and I'm on the other side of the fence, like Cryptozoa said here too, is Trump doesn't help us get back to PEG, or Trumpet doesn't. I kind of disagree, because
Trump does. He says it does.
Because the way Trumpet is set up is it's self-sustaining. The 5% in and out pays everybody else. So the longer you're in, the more you get gains from it, kind of like reflections. And because Bertha is buying that liquid trunk off of the market, putting it into Trumpet and burning it, it is helping support the trade.
Locking it. It sure is. It is. It's locking it up. I mean, it has a goal, like just like the farms have a goal. It locks up trunk. That was the whole point of it, was to lock up trunk. It just doesn't help us get back to PEG anytime soon. There's just so much liquid trunk out there. You know, I think, you know, when you look at the liability of what trunk has out there, it's ridiculous. But I honestly believe that when we reach PEG, or as we're starting to head towards PEG, I think the money is going to flow into the ecosystem even harder. I think people are going to be like, okay, elephant money is the only surviving DeFi that's actually making money. Where else are you going to put your money? You're almost foolish to put it in all these new. So first of all, there's going to be a million forks of elephant. Let's just go there, right? So when things start recovering and Bitcoin's doing its thing, and everyone's like, I'm a new crypto expert, and they're going to jump into all these new things. You know, if you're smart, and I hope people look at it this way, why would you put your money into anything not, you know, created by BT? I mean, he basically created DeFi, and it's a project that survived the worst of the worst. It survived one of the worst attacks that a project can have, and it survived the worst bear market we've had in history, and went up and was the #1 performing. So I have a feeling people are going to look at that when they're flush with money from trunk. You'd be almost foolish to take that money out and not put it back into Elephant in some way. Buy more NFTs, buy more Elephant token, get into futures. I mean,
exactly.
That's flywheel. You know, maybe I'm wrong, but I believe that that 10x builds the next 10x that gets the next 10x that gets the next 10x that gets the next 10x. It's going to be a flywheel, and I think that is what we're going to see. And if people sell, that's fine. It's going right into Bertha. We're going to lock up more tokens. It's almost a no-lose situation. Doesn't matter if people dump. We may have a huge rise again. If people dump, it's okay. Bertha's going to get it. Eventually, Bertha is going to control everything. That's just the way this is designed.
Yeah. So Cryptozoa mentioned, right, that confidence rebuilt within the elephant money, right? That's the only FUD that persists with people's doubting and whatever, with you know, what do you call it? With heavy feet, they walk around, right? But with everything else, I mean, it's flying on all colors, right? No matter how you look at it. Elephants 1 year to date, right? If you were involved with futures this last 280 days, right? If you minted NFTs in round one, I mean, there's been multiple kind of, big, wins this last year. So it's, the last thing off people's minds is Stampede. And so, yeah, I totally agree that confidence will help everyone walk strongly into it. And with that too, I wanted to ask Thomas, with the NFTs, were you able to pick up a few, most or a large amount during round one? Did you pick up round one and round two? Splitting up the farm, I think that was a great move, and I want to hear more about it.
He's a well.
I don't know about that, but I have 26 NFTs, and it was all from breaking up the farms.
26. Oh, you beat me by one.
Yeah, just that extra one. I'm not selling one either. I didn't get a black.
I was going to ask. That was my next question. Yeah.
I won 3 of them,
dude.
Wow.
How did you
need to have a side conversation in the private chat here.
Listen, he is. I'm not even kidding you. He is the luckiest guy in this room right now. He got 3 almost back to back to back.
Oh my gosh.
It's so bananas.
I did,
and actually, I told him, I said, you need to buy 3 more right now. And he didn't. And if he would have bought 3 more, he would have had a 4th one.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome story.
I was buying 3 at a time.
You still have your 3?
Zach has one of them now.
Okay.
Yep, he also won the raffle, like the 4th or 5th ever raffle he won too.
No, so it was a while after that.
So when he first launched the raffle, like maybe in the first 3 weeks, I was trying to time it and become the max, winner, and I kept losing, at the last second. And I'm on the phone with my brother, and I hit the button and I got it. I was jumping up and down, man. I hit that thing, and then I played it. I minted $5 a day every day since to try to win again.
Yeah,
and I won
a random
last week. Finally, after all that, I did.
Nice. I'll drink to that.
Yeah,
congratulations.
That's a W.
Yeah. I never did. I'm the only one in the room that didn't win a damn raffle.
So this is news to me. Before we went live, Goldwyn said the raffle is dead. Is he pulling my leg?
It's dead.
Is it really dead? Like, what happened?
News. Let him know what happened, Thomas. What happened? Was BT saying?
He was hinting at this for a long time, right? Which is why I was going crazy. I was putting like 2 or 3 wallets in there trying to win this thing because I knew it was coming to an end. And there was a lot of chatter in the background from a lot of the OGs saying, you know what, we need to kill this. I saw a lot of chatter about that for about, for 6 months. A lot of people were really unhappy. The people that kind of know math and know the system, they were just worried of the overall, liability to the system at some point. So I think it was a smart move. It played its purpose. It was awesome at the beginning. I don't think it was necessary anymore. Any move BT makes to sustainability is to our favor, guys. We are not looking to be a Ponzi and to give out yield that cannot be supported. So in my mind, and there are a lot of mature, smart people in this community, man. I mean, more than any other community I've been a part of, and they get that and they understand, I'd rather be a part of something that is sustainable and that works. And so I am fully for him eliminating that today. It's the right move. I think it's a good thing. Sorry for the people that missed out on it, but it was fun while we had it. That's for sure.
Well, I think the biggest thing is that it was exploitable. One person won 10 or 15 times over the last, couple weeks. And he or she, had a front running bot. I found that out today. I just happened to hop on. It was like 15 minutes left.
You had a bot, one of the winners?
100%. 100% had a front running bot running on it because 100%. Because
smart
within the same block, I would outbid because you have to bid 5% more than the current bid to win to go up.
Yeah.
So I would put $10. It wasn't even I put a random amount in, and his bid was exactly 5% higher than my bid within the same block.
Wow.
So my bid didn't even show up. His bid was always ahead of mine, exactly 5% higher than what I put in, no matter what I put in. Like I put 35% more than what was needed to go up, and his was exactly within one block, within the same block. If it wasn't a bot front running me, mine would post and then his would come above me. I would say that was just somebody waiting in there, sees my bid and outbids me, like on eBay back in the day.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. But a bot that's literally front running my bid, I still minted that, and he was higher than me within the same block. So it's impossible without a front running bot to know exactly what I'm bidding and outbid me by 5%.
Yeah.
So
It's a whale game.
you see what
you know?
Andrew said? He's saying that the people that were selling elephant were the ones buying or winning the raffle.
Yeah, I mean, sure, because today, right at the end, somebody bid $1,000 to win max depositor. They won 13,000 trunk. If they sold that immediately, that's still $2,500. So they're still netting 1,500 right
Well,
now.
it's going to your stampede, your locked stampede. You're not getting it liquid.
Oh, that's
That's
true.
true. That's true.
That's true. That's
So
true.
I get what you guys are saying, and I kind of agree. Get rid of the max depositor, but I think you should still have the random raffle, because I mean, at the end of the day, you're giving out the trunk to people that are. It's going in the stampede. It still gives everyone the incentive to buy elephant. So I think
That's a good point. If it was 5% meant to mint a ticket and it went to one random person, I mean, you're not manipulating unless you just put 100 accounts in, but you're still bidding $5, right, per account.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's helping Bertha, helping the
Yeah.
ecosystem.
I look at the history of what happened here, So what was going on was, are you guys familiar with EMP money?
Yeah.
So AJ runs that. Great guy. He's actually one of the stars of DeFi. He and BT. BT is the king. Let's just go there. But I have a lot of respect for AJ. He runs EMP Money, and he created something called the detonator, and it had this raffle, and that's what caught fire. The whole DeFi space was going crazy over this guy's raffle. It worked just like it's kind of like Stampede in a way, but. He did this raffle, and it was a whale game, and the whales killed it on that thing. I did end up winning that one once, but people were texting and emailing and begging BT to do the same thing for Stampede. So that's what was going on. And then I didn't realize BT actually, I didn't realize Detonator was based on BT's code, of course. And I didn't realize that the raffle that he was doing was invented by BT in a previous project. So it was all BT stuff again, but it went viral. People went crazy over the detonator raffles. And that's why BT put that into the Stampede, hoping that could fix Trunk way back when. So that's why I think that was put in. And at that time, that's when I learned that actually that was BT's code, the raffle. That was his idea. He kind of did that. I don't know if it was in Bankroll Flow that he did that, but he wrote the code for that raffle stuff. That was something that came out of his. And I know AJ and BT are friends, and so yeah. Since then, the detonator's not doing very well at all. So, but either way,
kind of fell off.
One comment Andrew had made, right, the raffle being potentially a branding issue, whereas right, we're trying to attract these long-term like-minded individuals, right? Whereas we have a lottery and daily, people aping in, right? We understand there's some mature people who can, hold both in your hand, but there are others where they'll just come for certain behaviors. So maybe I kind of agree with Andrew's point there. It's a easier sell with the whole ecosystem without having to mention, but we have this or that. Some of, it makes it all cohesive. Banks typically don't have raffles every day. So I think it helps with the mission statement and just the product lines, and they're all just cohesive, and there aren't these kind of, I guess, stray ones. And overall, I'm like you said, from a player perspective, I really enjoyed it. We bring him up often, but Muddy Mo, he did a daily raffle stream. I used to just tune in that 20 viewers, 10 viewers, but it's just fun, right? It's something to get excited every day, to every 24 hours. It does bring, like, Thomas was mentioning with the detonator, that enthusiasm, that energy, that momentum, that network effect, because big sums of money are going to a random person and just a person who is a whale, and so it's has that positive feedback loop. But as we know, when just like the detonator, right, when liquidity dries up for that particular mechanism, to my understanding, that's what ultimately, you know, the issue arises where the whales don't keep coming and the liquidity dries up. Whereas something like Stampede, which was built on trying to have a stronger foundation, you're right, we've been able to keep Trunk at 20 cents, but in the contract still paying out consistently, whereas others have gone down. But no, I think it's a positive move. My vote's yes for it. I will say this: the two biggest wallets I witnessed that won the most times, you know, they're, you know, I would say they're hardcore elephant money believers too. So they're not like the guys trading in and out trying to, right. These are people who have a big elephant bag as well, and you know, so they probably just love elephant money, just as all four of us on this call. I'm sure they would love to be on up here telling us how much they love the protocol, because I truly think that those, just by viewing what they hold, they're a fan of the project, and I'm sure they're going to be a bit sad seeing it go away, but it'll be all right.
Well, they were winning. They had it done. It's whale games, you know. I mean, let's just say EMP at one point was the funnest thing in DeFi. They had it going on, man. I mean, they really did. But the problem is that it was a black hole. No one knew how they made money. I still don't know how they were trying to make. They obviously didn't. They're not making anything today. But it was a black hole. Whereas at least with Elephant, I know where everything is going. We have this treasury that is magical, right? You know, I mean, no one else has it. No one else has a treasury where it gets fed constantly like this. We know where the money goes. There is no black hole of this is how we, you know, everybody knows how the yield is paid. It's paid by Bertha. We know that. We know that that's how the yield is paid.
It's very transparent.
She had her Terminator-esque, you know, behavior is so attractive, because like we're talking about, no other project has a robot that's fighting day and night nonstop for the holders of that project, right? There's people talk about these AI cryptos or this, we're going to do trading bots and that's going to support this token, right? We don't, that's all just, you know, hopes and dreams. We have code, a solid, you know, working robot that's running around collecting value day and night. And so it's just, that's just that key multi-billion dollar, trillion dollar, whatever you want to call it, piece of code that's, you know, that's making this whole protocol work. It never gets old, right? It never gets old. Bertha, shout out to Bertha.
So do you think the raffle being killed is going to help Trunk or hurt Trunk?
You know, I would say indifferent, because right now, when I was looking up the stats too, I think there's about 100 participants per day in the raffle. And then as we saw, the max winners were like 400 Trunk, 1,000 Trunk, so $200 or $40, like or a little bit more. But so what I'm saying is, I think it'll be indifferent. It does help, I guess, the inflation. There's another step, a small baby step. It will help cut back on inflation from that daily addition of 2 big winners. But overall, I would say no immediate change. It's just another kind of sunset of this, and it's might be a bottom signal. This might be the lowest Trunk ever is, because it's just another positive, you know, part of the system to help it repeg. So I think it might be a bottom.
There were 2 other big pieces of news that have kind of happened in the last week too. I mean, one was BT sunsetting the LP, the BUSD LP. I'd be curious to hear your guys' opinion on how that will exactly work. That's the one thing that is, I keep trying to wrap my head around. How in the world is he going to sunset the BUSD LP? I have an idea, but I'd be curious to hear what you guys think about that.
Goldwood, what's your thoughts? How is BT going to do it?
I think he's just going to let it be. I think it'll work itself out. So BUSD will either become irrelevant and we'll suck all the elephant out of it, or it'll keep pace on its own. I think the people will make it even with BNB.
Yeah.
I think that elephant money will move away from it, but it'll still be there. So those that know will be able to buy cheaper elephant or sell higher elephant when it's out of balance, but it'll be there forever.
No.
Unless BUSD completely is not available anymore online.
Yeah. How about AG? Do you have any thoughts how it might go down?
Well, if they can't just stop the code, can they? Stop the blockchain? Oh. So whatever's locked in the liquidity pools can't be touched unless someone's buying or selling it.
Yep.
So I agree with Goldwyn. It's just going to run its course, and people are going to arbitrage in and out of it until it's gone, until it's faded.
One
and that
thing
could be years from now.
Yeah. One thing I think with behavior, we saw this once before when we were in leadership mode. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that was when, right, the inflow of capital was focusing on the BNB pool. Is that correct? When you recall that?
It was happening for a while. Yeah,
just for a while there, and and we saw that that disconnect between the BUSD and BNB, and oftentimes, like we're discussing, the herd would come and try to manage the price back to equal. So I think, like you guys are saying, it's going to exist. I'm curious just to see that dynamic when we do get like a massive inflow. Like, is it going to be a big gap, or I personally don't have any strong opinions, but I think the herd will know about it. People will know, and we're just going to be in that leadership mode kind of indefinitely now, where we'll always be seeing those two prices and always be thinking in your head, wait, I could buy it here and sell it there, or I can, or whoa, that looks bullish. It's 5% higher in this pool, and like it kind of begets that momentum. I like it. I think it adds a little bit of chaos, but at the same time, it adds a positive price pressure and eyeballs, and that's all. Ultimately, I always mention like the secret formula of elephant money. With BT's figured out how to paint green candles using Bertha, using all of these tokenomics. But it's that painting of green candles that allows people to go, hey, what's this? Right? People buy green and sell red when they should be doing the opposite. But it gets people's attention and eyeballs when he prints these green candles. And you're right, and like we're saying, that just begets the first 10x, and that begins the next 10x. So I'm personally interested to see what happens, but I'm a fan. I'm excited going forward. But Thomas, what do you think about this split?
Well, I'm a little nervous about it. I mean, I don't like the fact that once BNB gets way above the BUSD pool, I guess we're just counting on humans to make up that difference, and you might see a lot of volatility for a while. I don't know. I mean, it's fascinating, to be honest with you. I don't know how it's going to work, but I trust that BT knows what he's doing. I've learned to not. Every time I felt like, oh, that's a wrong move, it totally worked out. So, he knows what he's doing, and I just want to get beyond the BUSD issue overall. I hope that he. My son has found me, so this may be over for me. But I'm on. Just
bring him over here.
Yeah, we want to know his
family-friendly show.
Come on.
With alcohol.
No, he doesn't want to get on TV. That got it. Good night, buddy. So,
it's good.
I just would like to get beyond the BUSD issue. That's really what I want to do. I want to get beyond that, because to me, I hope he changes futures soon. I'm sick of answering the questions for it. It's, so the faster that we all move towards this is better for me. And I think for all of us to better for the protocol, right? We don't have to answer that question anymore.
Here's my question. You might be able to answer this for me. If they get rid of or if they're phasing out the BUSD liquidity pools, I was under the understanding that there's a reason that they had BUSD and BNB liquidity pools, and they would arbitrage in between it automatically. So when the price of BNB would dump, we wouldn't dump that hard because it's supporting that price. So if we get rid of that, does that leave us vulnerable to fluctuations? And if so, what's his plan for that?
I think his hope is that we drain the elephant out of that BUSD pool to the point where it doesn't, goo-goo. You just have to be quiet.
So it doesn't goo-goo.
All right.
You don't want that to
tell
happen.
me more about that. Yeah. What is that?
So I think, in my mind, I think he's hoping to drain the elephant out of there, that's not an issue. I loved the way the two LPs worked together. I thought it was brilliant. So
I did too, but I don't know why he doesn't want to replace it with like BUSD or not BUSD, but USDC or USDT or something. That's
I honestly think that the trunk's going to become the stable coin once we get back to peg.
I agree.
And then he can always do an elephant trunk pair.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll do that. I don't think we're ever going to see another LP again. Honestly, I don't know. I loved the way this worked. I'm so sad that what happened to BUSD, and I wish Binance fought harder to save that. But I loved the mechanism he set up there was the most brilliant thing I've ever seen in my life. But I think he's going to try to sunset this BUSD LP. I mean, no one, only BT knows this answer, right? It's just, if I had to guess, my guess is that that we don't see another LP, and he's going to let BNB run to the moon. And that's what I think. And he's going to count on people to arbitrage it instead of the system to arbitrage it.
Yeah. The one thing, if you recall, on our first parabolic run up, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but we only had one liquidity pool, correct? The BUSD, was it elephant, or was it elephant BNB pool the first run up?
BNB.
So, and then it was the BUSD was added afterwards, but so now our economic energy is split, and we're pushing up, both of the pools. So, I'm very bullish that, like we're saying, if we can direct, that's all BT's contracts have ever done, is direct the flow of energy and direct flow of money in a controlled fashion. And so, by having this now, even more aligned in one way, so I'm bullish on that front. Like you said, I think the herd will follow up. But one thing I wanted to mention too, the BUSD, that's, it was a great token. I'm hoping its sunset is successful and everything. It seems to be going great. But one thing that I wanted to mention is how relieved and excited I am with the BNB news. If we could kind of rotate into that, personally myself, right? Like, this is my honest thoughts and opinions. Like, right, there's always that air of uncertainty around Binance. And just with this recent news that we'll discuss here, right, with Binance, it personally, for me, just deepened that conviction, because we always discuss how the math shows this can be here for 5, 10, 30 years. But when it comes to the blockchain now having that stamp of approval of the largest US, your largest powerhouse, whatever you want to call them, in finance, right, that to me really brings it into reality that, yes, this thing is 5, 10, 30 years in the making. Yes, the path is being paved, and we just got a green light to go. So I just want to mention that Binance, the news was, bad on the surface, but I think in the long run, it's nothing but bullish and, good for its future.
So what do you mean that? Clarify on that. So I know that I did hear Goldwyn, you might have been on a boat somewhere in the Atlantic or the Caribbean, but Binance had to pay $4 billion.
Yep. That's nothing to Binance, though.
It's not. It's not.
Like, so I heard something like they literally have $1 billion a day in volume from fees. So $4 billion is nothing. They're happy to pay that.
It's peanuts. Yeah. It's peanuts to them. Somebody posted up, man, it may have been Zach. Somebody posted a link with all the fines that have been given to all the financial companies and banks through the last few years. And it's startling how many billions they have paid. It's nothing to the $4 billion that Binance has had. To me, the only thing, nothing has, since I got into Elephant and understood it and really got it, nothing has really scared me. Okay. But one thing did, and it was Binance. It was this whole thing with the SEC. Yep. It's the only thing, if there was, one little thing I would at nights, at 2 o'clock in the morning, be like, God, that just kind of freaked me out a little bit. Yeah. That would be it. That's solved. It's gone. Yeah. It's gone. This is such good news. I know short term, everyone's like, what's happening with the price? But long term, this is super good news for all of us. It means that we're going to be around for a long time, and the SEC action is over. There just isn't anything else they can do to Binance in the smart. It's over. It's up to us to make it now. It's up to the crypto community to kind of jump in and make that happen and continue being the most used chain there is. I mean, it is the most used chain in the world. And
I remember having this exact same conversation with AG back in the day of what is the flaw. Whenever I was looking into Elephant, because it seems so great to me, I literally sent it out to 4 or 5 friends and said, what am I missing? Why what am I missing? And what we came down to is the only thing that could go wrong was Binance, exactly, BNB, Binance. And I had zero fear of that until Celsius disappeared, and then FTX fell. You know, and then I was really like, holy crap. You know, if those could disappear within the matter of weeks, you know, theoretically, so could Binance.
Yeah.
But because those guys disappeared, that just strengthened the stranglehold that Binance had. You know, and you know, all of these fines came from giving people accounts. I have 2 actual Binance accounts that are locked because I'm an American that have thousands upon thousands of dollars worth of crypto in it.
Gosh.
That I don't even know what it is at this point. It's going to be this huge surprise that when I get access to those accounts again, because I got locked out because I was an American, you know, and that was from the SEC. That wasn't because of Binance. You know, the SEC screwed me by getting my accounts locked.
No, they're looking after you, bro. That's what
I get it.
They protected you from CZ. He was hurting you. You're using his biggest asset exchange in the world. But
so look at what the alternative was. Look at what the alternative was to what we were facing here. So this settlement is phenomenal, right? Because the alternative is that the SEC could have created actions against Binance for years. Look what happened to XRP, man. Imagine if that was happening for years with Binance. This is the best news we could have hoped for. The worst thing that comes out of it is that we lost CZ as a spokesman, right? He was in my mind, he is the man of crypto, right? I mean,
but it's only 3 years though.
But
I heard that he's able to come back after 3 years.
Is he able? I thought I heard. I rewatched the announcement, and I think they mentioned that he may not be able to. Like he has to permanently be not able to hold office. But like you said, I saw her 3 years, not a acting office or whatever probation. But then like I don't know. I thought I heard that. Correct me in the comments.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I think he can't.
I heard he's not allowed to be involved with the company for at least 3 years. Then after that, he can come back.
I don't think he can run the company after 3 years is what I think you're saying. That's what I thought I saw as well. So he can come back in 3 years in some capacity, but he can't be CEO again.
Like a chairman, which is basically the boss of the CEO.
I'm sure he'll find a way to have a position of power. He is a leader and people follow him. I imagine he will, after that 3 years, he'll find a way to have a voice again. But that's the only downside is losing his voice. But if you guys think about what this means for Elephant, it is phenomenal. This is, we could not have asked better.
I don't think we'll lose his voice though. I mean, he's not going to jail just because he's not pulling the strings.
I'm sure he's going to be gagged where he can't talk about Binance. I'm sure.
Well, no, he doesn't have to talk about Binance, but he could talk about crypto in general. I'm sure. I mean, he's not losing his Twitter account and his millions of followers.
If he's not going to jail, I mean, I didn't think he was going to jail. I thought this was an agreement that kept him out of jail.
Yeah, he's not
I don't think you.
The more you read about
I heard there is. We got different news sources.
Who's your news?
My Telegram. Come my Telegram after.
What are you hearing?
So what are you hearing?
No, that's what. Just that he can't come. Like he can't come back. And then just what was the last point you just made? You
said he's going to jail.
Oh, then he may still face charges. His hearing is February 23rd, I believe, in Washington State. Or I don't know if it's gonna be the same state as he just currently was, but no, I was gonna say I just saw read headlines. I don't know, but he may face charges or not. I don't know, but might be house arrest or something, but maybe not. I think, but I don't know. I'll see. Maybe not. But
house arrest. He doesn't even live in the U.S.
Yeah,
I don't know. To leave. He's not allowed to leave. So he was denied the request to leave until the trial. So he has to stay in the U.S. I think until then. He's considered a flight risk. To me, it came off to me like he might have to do some jail time, and I hope not. Again, if you look at the financial crisis, guys,
for what though? What technically?
What they did do is he did allow some fraudulent activity on Binance and actively was okay with it. Okay. And they have the goods on him. He did do that, but it's no worse. Look at what the financial crisis caused on Wall Street and the damage worldwide of what that caused. Not one person went to jail. Not one person. Okay. I don't even know if anybody lost their job and that happened, So I don't know. I've always felt like this SEC overreach was crazy and they should just, that's nice. Nice this. But I always felt like, man, if we can just settle and get out of this, we would be fine. I've always, hoped for that. And I think we should all look at this as a blessing in disguise. This this is done. We can move on, and hopefully we can create new great projects on Binance to help attract more people even to Binance and to help Elephant in the end.
Well, I think the biggest thing is, you know, over the last year, or at least over the last year, Binance is down with 30%. Everything else is up, and Binance is down. So that's where we're suffering, is because Binance is still down. So now once this is settled, it's going to skyrocket faster than everything else.
Yeah, as you mentioned as well, like I've reached out to, you know, big Twitter accounts before, and some of them will get back to me, but it's always been that, oh, I don't mess with Binance, or oh, I don't feel comfortable, you know, promoting or getting involved. I'm sure that's been the case for, you know, dozens of requests. So, and even developers as well. I mean, people I respect will just, you know, they probably had that fear in mind that their work and their time, energy, and building these projects just wouldn't have the, you know, come to, you know, have the brightest future. But with all this being said, like we said, with all that being the past now, all of that is the past, right? I just think that talent, with it being such a active and well adopted blockchain, with Binance continuing quarter after quarter to keep showing its expansion and domination, like, you know, it's just, to me, it's like, in my mind, I can't think of something more bullish. And like you said, as well, Thomas, right? You know, even if he does face a jail or whatever, he's still going to have that positive kind of outlook, and his freedom of his, you know, of being maybe he has some sort of gag rule, but he'll have that crypto influence still. Whereas if you look at people like, you know, the people from Three Arrows Capital, who are, you know, people like Do Kwon, people who had to go on the run, people who, you know, their lives were over because of their, you know, actions and behaviors as a financial manager. And, you know, CZ doesn't have all of that. He'll have his life. And, you know, that's like you said, the SEC could have dragged this for years and attacked them this way, that sued them, and all this. So, like you said, have them, I think probably XRP, the government seeing how much of a show and how much of a, you know, time, money, energy, and the outcry from the people, like they probably just, hey, let's slap the fine, let's get it done. We don't want to go through all that. And I couldn't agree more. You hit the nail on the head. Yep. It's beautiful. It's good. It's good going forward. And that's what CZ's ultimate crime was allowing financial access to the masses. What, unfortunately, right, there were some, you know, nefarious actors, but like we talk about all the time, I mean, cash is the most used for, you know, drug trafficking, human trafficking, all this kind of stuff, right? And so to attack 100,000 transactions or 400,000, I forgot what they quoted as being malicious transactions. I mean, that's still like we talk about a dime in the bucket. It's like them doing a drug bust. We caught this much drugs, and there's a whole flood going down the road. You know, they pat themselves on the back. And one last thing I want to bring
back, Web.
Yeah, like and same with Goldwyn, like you mentioned, Celsius, or like these other finance, CFI, where they were a lot more black box, and they went down Voyager. Like they had these kind of big, you know, deaths in FTX. Right, Binance always had on-chain analytics that would point towards their reserves. Right, they, I mean, I think someone else tried to take credit, but they tried to take credit as the first centralized exchange with the Merkle tree reserve proofs on chain, that we have the cryptographic assets we say we do. They were the first centralized exchange to start that trend. And, you know, that just speaks to, they had accountability, you know, CZ's business integrity and ethics, right? If he was doing something that Sam was doing, right, they can't show on chain, we hold these assets, we say, like, so all of these kind of show the mindset of CZ, what his business is about, what his ethics are. And so, yeah, like we talked about that, you know, the US is dragging his name and trying to do what they can, but I think, you know, he's the best crypto entrepreneur of all time. There's no one else who's taken his spot yet, but he's the throne is open.
I think he'll go down as a legend. I really do, because he didn't steal funds. Bottom line, he was complicit in allowing some action on there, and he did try to hide it. He got caught trying to hide it from the SEC. That is his crime. That is why he is busted. But the bottom line is, guys, he'll be a legend for the rest of his life because he didn't steal anybody's funds.
Well, one thing that Elephant and Binance have in common is, you know, when all of this negativity happened and all of these people started selling billions of dollars, Binance had it. You know, they had outflows of multiple billions of dollars in a day.
In a day,
it didn't phase them, right? And so the 6 billion in one day.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the drop that we just had at the end of September or whatever it was. Elephant had those funds, right? And so those people that were afraid that sold were able to, right? And all of us the diamond handed, we realized, well, the protocol just got $1 trillion or whatever it was from those people selling. And it didn't hurt us. I looked at liquidity after that, and we still have the same amount of liquidity in our LP pools as we did then. So we're crabbing sideways, and the people are selling and Bertha's buying. So that gap is getting closer and closer and closer. It's because of that liquidity, and that's why Elephant's going to win, in my opinion.
So how big is Kraken? Do you think it's like it's not even in the top 10?
I can pull up right now. They're on CoinGecko, just some little alpha. You can click exchanges. They have the same option, I believe, on CoinMarketCap as well. But let's see, crypto exchanges, they split it between DeFi and CeFi exchanges. But here, if I'm just looking at the top crypto exchanges for CeFi, right? Binance is number 1 with a 24-hour volume of $10.6 billion of trading volume, right? OKX, that's interesting, is number 2. Bybit number 3. Coinbase is number 4. Gate.io 5. KuCoin 6. And Kraken is number 7, with crypto.com number 8 behind it.
Okay. So I read an article today that Citadel, you've heard of Citadel?
Yeah. Capital.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So they deal with just straight stocks, and they made, I believe it said $13 billion in revenue last year. And Kraken, which isn't even the top,
not top 5,
not even the top 5, they made $42 billion in revenue.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
that revolution is coming. It's transfer of wealth. That's what's coming,
dude. So the rumor that I've been hearing is that the reason that they went after CZ and Binance is not really to get CZ out of the way. Well, I mean, kind of. So part of it is to get some of his money, not his money, but his user base to come over to the stock market, because Larry Fink and BlackRock, they're trying to put their ETF in. But one of the big hurdles of getting that spot ETF is Tether. So in order to get to Tether, they went through FTX and also Binance to be able to see all the records of what Tether's been doing in the background on those 2 exchanges to try to go after Tether now. That is the rumor that I've been hearing.
It wouldn't surprise me. The SEC, I don't have a ton of respect for what's going on there. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I'm sure this is being manipulated by the billion-dollar finance guys on Wall Street. There's no question they sense what is happening, and they want their piece, and they want to try to control what they can. I mean, I think that's clearly what's going on. Is there's a fight for the future. They all know what's coming. They can't stop it. They're trying to slow it down, beat it up, do what they can, scare people, and slow the adoption. But it can't be stopped. 2024 and 2025, in my mind, are you're going to see the greatest wealth transfer that we've ever seen before. I think what's about to happen with Bitcoin and everybody else underneath it is going to be amazing. I'm telling everybody I know, buy Bitcoin, buy Elephant. That's the 2 things I'm telling people to do, because I think both of those things will change your lives. I'm almost not interested in much else.
Not even Ethereum.
Ethereum's just so darn expensive. I just can't stand the mechanics behind it. I'm sure Ethereum will be fine. For me, I'm now anti-diversification. So, for me, I'm holding Elephant today. That's what I'm holding. I may shave off a little Elephant at some point and buy Bitcoin, and then go to Venus and maybe borrow against it and put it into futures. I may do something like that a little bit down the road, but as of now, I'm very happy with my Elephant. I don't need anything else. I feel very well positioned for what's coming. So I'm pretty happy that way. I'm risk averse at this point, and it's strange to say that a DeFi project on Binance, I feel is the safest thing I can put my money into right now. But I understand how Elephant works, and I can see the treasury. I can see what's happening. It doesn't matter what anybody else does. It doesn't matter what the price is today. It makes no difference because I can see what the treasury is doing and I can see money flowing into futures. Those are the two things I look at. Okay, how much money's coming into futures and how is Bertha doing? And those two things are going so healthy that, I mean, that's what I look at personally when I wake up in the morning. That's what I look for, are those two things more than I look at the price.
So Cryptozoa has a question for you, Tom.
Yeah.
It says, how does your wine experience relate to crypto success? I imagine being able to think in terms of years versus days and weeks might play into it, or that search for quality.
I'm a guy that had no patience, my whole life. I probably one of my biggest problems. I was just so excited and acting on emotion or acting on passion. Winemaking taught me to appreciate the journey, because you taste the grape, you crush the grapes, you ferment it, you turn it into wine, and then you age it for years. Sometimes today I'm aging wine for 3 years in a barrel before I bottle it. Tasting it along the way and seeing the progress, and then getting to the end and manipulating the wine by blending other wines into it if I need to, and getting it to the perfect state that I can get it to is to me the joy out of it now. So now the joy to me is the journey to the bottle, and it takes years. So that experience of learning that patience and to actually take the time to enjoy. I think I was so result oriented in everything I did. I always thought of the end point, right? That's kind of what you think of when you're doing. At least that's how I was. For me today, I truly enjoy the journey of getting to a bottle of wine, and then once it gets to the bottle, it actually ages in the bottle too. So it's something that almost never ends. It's kind of like every year I'm creating something, and it just changes every single year that you're doing it, and it's neat to see. It really is. So how did that help me in my crypto journey? I think I've just matured in that I don't panic over what's happening on a daily basis. I try to just I see the end point, and I'm enjoying the journey as I'm going. I love learning. I love being part of the elephant community and learning from so many smart people, and just seeing all the, what I really enjoy is meeting people from all over the world, and understanding their perspectives, and like people like Jed, like I love that guy. Like he just, I don't know, I just never met anybody like him. He's the kind of person that changes the way you think, right? Because of the way his outlook is and the way that he goes after things and his angles that he takes things. I'm like constantly fascinated by it. I wonder if the guy even works. I don't even know what the hell he does, but he is just so fascinating to me. Like I love Jed. Like I love hearing everything that comes out of that guy's mouth. Mike Dre, people like that, I just love the community that we have here, and all the different voices and smart people. It's just, it's been a great journey. So I'm enjoying the journey much like I enjoy the journey of making a bottle of wine. So, but I don't enjoy running a restaurant. That I don't enjoy. It's the worst business to be in these days. But it's a dynamic business. It's definitely very busy lately, and takes a lot of my time. But I wish I could be even more involved in DeFi and do it full time. But maybe 2024.
Yeah, that was a great question, Patrick, and that was a great answer, Thomas. I love that. That was really cool. Yeah, and like you're saying, that kind of join the journey, and then you have that endpoint in mind. I just was relating that to elephant. Like we know the endpoint of what happens to when Bertha buys up all the tokens, and right now is that journey of as each day goes by, and we're each one teaching one, trying to get people involved and understand what this math money protocol is about, because we know day by day Bertha is just doing her thing, and people are compounding in futures, etc. So that's really cool. We know the endpoint. That's really cool. What else would you say would be if you're a person new to crypto right now, maybe new to elephant money ecosystem, what would something you would want to let them know, or maybe tell a younger you, earlier you? What was something maybe that you could give a piece of advice for?
Watch EMH's videos. I mean, for me, data is everything, and the stuff that he's worked out in his videos is data, and it's data that computes and that is proven. And that when you look at when he did these videos all the way back last year, over a year ago, they've all proven true, every single one of them. So if you want to get excited, You watch the SK videos and AMAs. That's how I found Elephant, was through SK in one of his AMAs. But I didn't invest a lot of money until I watched EMH's videos. And that's when I said, okay, now I get why this is different. And, once you kind of understand that, I think it changed the game. You can't unsee it. There's nothing else like it out there. So for me, understanding the mechanics behind this, and a good place to start is just to go to EMH's channel. And if you like data, and if you like math, and you want to know how exactly this works, man, those to me are they're gold. I mean, I've sent out 1,000 links to his YouTubes, because I think it's important. Not everyone's like me, and they don't want to know the data behind it. And I get that, because they're long videos. Some of those videos are like really hard to even get through sometimes because of the math, But for me, it gave me certainty. It took away any panic. It gave me the patience, to say, okay, I can. It taught me what to look at, right? It taught me to look at Bertha. It taught me to look at the adoption of futures and NFTs, and seeing those succeed is what really matters. So that would be my advice: is to not the people that I've brought into crypto. I always try to tell them, don't panic sell. Don't panic. There's no need to panic. Take a look at the big picture. Look at what's going on. And when we had that big drop in end of September or early October, I sent out some text messages to all of them, just saying, hey, look at Bertha. Bertha's doing great. It's all good. Don't panic. It's coming back. It's going to be a dip. And so that would be my advice: is look at what's important. Talk to the people in the community. That there are some smart, good people in this community. Talk to them. Find out what's going on. Man, there's so many great people in this community. 3 of you guys right there included.
Thank you.
But I better, before my other child joins me in here, I probably have to jump. I want to thank you guys for having me on, though. What a cool and calm conversation this was. It was awesome. You guys are easy to talk to, no stress. I really do appreciate what you guys are doing. You're doing great work. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you muted there, Goldwyn. I think you might be muted.
Sorry, I was blowing my nose earlier, so I've been trying to cut off. Tom, one thing I want to thank you is your AMAs. They were so good, and they kind of led to our conversations with AG too about starting a podcast. Was because they were conversations. They were, it didn't seem forced. So I wanted to thank you. I didn't tell you that earlier, but
I appreciate that. I wish I could do more. I can't because of my job right now, but you know what? You guys are carrying it on and doing great. I think it's awesome. I love what you're doing, and work like this, guys, is so necessary. This is just necessary to get the word out and let people know what's going on. And I appreciate what you guys are doing. This is a great way to do it. Very casual, way better than what I was doing. You got the video thing going on, and you got multiple people on at time. I think it's a great way to do it. So I appreciate what you're doing.
Well, yeah, it all started from just talking for an hour on the phone every day, and we're like, we should record this and put it out there.
You know what? I think the biggest thing is the conversations that me and AG were having are the same conversations that everybody else are having. So, we are answering each other's questions. Well, those might be questions that other people are having too. So that's, that's kind of how we're helping people.
Yeah, I definitely think so. Yeah. Each one teach one. This is definitely a great platform. You guys are doing great. Shout out to Rugs to Riches.
Yeah. Hey, call me anytime. I would love to do this again, guys. I would love it. Seriously. You guys are great. All of you. Thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah.
No problem, Tom.
Thank you.
Right. Till next time.
Wow. Well, that was awesome. What do you guys think?
What a great dude. That guy's awesome.
Thomas is great. I can't wait till he brings us a bottle of his wine at the Elephant Money convention in 2024. So
that's right.
We're ready to try some Mr. Nye's wine. But no, he was great. Definitely a very, impactful member of the community, very strong voice and advocate. One that, once again, he brings a perspective for a lot of men and people who may be involved in maybe crypto stocks, right? He brings an opinion that I think is very valuable. So, yeah, I thank you for his contribution. And our goal is to make Elephant pump up big, so he will have that time to pursue DeFi full time and become an educator. that's our we're holding the torch for him right now.
Hey, was that water in your glass earlier?
No, it really wasn't. We get the bottle. Let me show you.
Yeah, I don't believe you.
You think I'm? Oh, goodness.
Look, it was clear, bro. What is that?
This is
It's a Moscato, Stella Rosa.
Yeah, it's Stella Rosa, but it's a mix. Yeah, it's some sort of pineapple chili. It's a.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And
It looked really clear. So
if Double OG sees this, man, he's gonna be.
I know. Hey, y'all toasted for my birthday. That's the reason. Sorry, Mason. That was my. As you saw, I think it's it. But
listen, I think how drunk were you?
We had our fun last time. We had our own fun drinking stream. Yeah.
Yeah, how drunk were you on that stream? You look like you got super toasty by the end.
Not too much. I mean, I can't recall really too much, but I mean, we just drank a little bit beforehand.
super
definitely something fun we can do another time. That was our first time getting together in person. Maybe the first time we all get together. I don't know. I that's something I kind of thought about. This is my honest opinion. Like drinking and crypto and money talk, right? This it's something. It's casual. I like it kind of in this predicament, but like. As someone trying to promote and get, build a brand, I just don't think it's the best brand image. Sure. That's personally why I'm trying to why I limit it,
I understand that.
Yeah. But no, and you calling me a liar, man. I've never lied in my life on camera, right? I learned that the best way, if you just tell the truth all the time, then you'll never have to remember anything. And so it's just, I'm just playing. I'm pulling your leg.
Yeah, it was awful clear. So I was like, man, either white wine or water. And I know last week was water. So
yeah, that'd be a sin to put wine in a water in a wine cup. Unless I was Jesus, I could turn it to wine. Boom.
So who's that in the background?
This is my dog Coco. I adopted her from the Fulton County Animal Shelter when she was 3 or 4, and she is 7 or 8 now. I don't think she was 3 or 4 when I got her. I think she was like 5 or 6 when I got her.
What's her name?
Coco, because she's
Coco.
brown.
Coco is my dog's name.
Really?
Yeah.
I have a dog named Coco too.
Let me see if I can get her. Coco.
Come here, baby.
I think she's locked in my son's room. Come here, baby. So she can't come.
Dude, she's a sweetheart. She's a pit bull mix, something, I don't know, but she's the sweetest dog.
She's got to stretch.
Yeah, sweetest dog I ever had. Let's see. Come on, camera. Come back, baby. But yeah, she's my nice. Gotta run it up for Coco. We got to get our Cocos together when we meet up. Have our podcast in person.
Coco was in Columbus, Georgia last week for Thanksgiving.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we could have met up somewhere.
Yeah, man. I'm skipping a hop away, man. And, you say the word. My schedule's clearing up some more. Hopefully I can travel some more soon. I haven't traveled in a little bit, but yeah, man. Today I mentioned, so hopefully this time next week, if I continue to co-host, hey, can I stay in for maybe potential full-time, maybe?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
You can be the professional guy to ask the questions, and Goldwyn and I will drink and make jokes and laugh.
Yeah, make fun of him. Look at this guy. No, that's fine. No, I've enjoyed doing this with you guys, but I was gonna mention. Today I mentioned next week. I hopefully will have a new setup, and I think you'll bring something pretty creative to the table and fun. Yeah, so I'll just leave you in that. It involves a green screen and moving around furniture. I'll just leave it at that.
I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see it.
Thanks. Yeah, man. Things are good. Just like you mentioned, 6 months, and it's the herd. Kind of like on our last kind of previous run up, which Thomas mentioned. The NFTs definitely were a big factor in that. Right when we get that momentum, similar to like he was mentioning the EMP detonator contract, where right we just see this huge inflow because it like FOMO begets FOMO. It's like like a snowball, a success begets success. It's like when we see that happening, and that's we 6 months, it's so much can happen. And that was a point I was mentioning, because if Bertha's eaten up 28 trillion, and then let's say the herd has half of that, 14 trillion in that time span, right? That's 42 trillion. We're down to like 60 or 58 trillion in the LP. And that's what people don't get a lot of times too. It's stuck there. It's like that ceiling above it. Like once we go in through it, it's so hard, right? It just goes it can go back up. We can go back through, but as you know, it's quick down and it's hard to go back up. And so, and as BT mentioned in his message, unless everyone in the herd is just insane and doesn't realize how awesome of a asset they hold in their hands, getting that, we talked about those 5%, 10% days that will ultimately lead us to the 10x, 50x, stuff like that. It's just people will hold on to it and, drain more, hold on to it. So it really does go bananas, I think, at a point in the near future. So I think stuff like, so just to wrap it up, I think, SK's, we've been definitely missing him with his AMA tour, super awesome and powerful. Even just his casual calls with his other friends, right? Such great content. But really, I think us, putting out Elephant Money content, that's something I'm always interested in, making more videos, right? The Medium articles, just when I think about what we can do to make that happen, it's just all these little efforts, little fronts, and networking to get there.
I agree.
Yeah.
So,
you gonna read this comment? I'll read it real quick. From Cryptozoa. My biggest barrier is the learning curve. Teaching newbies about chains, browser wallets, and the path from bank to EM is the hardest. Yeah, man. That's you and I share that profession in that we both are educators for crypto. For me, I find it's all about that, right? That the personal connection you get with people, you can find out how they think and work. But it is difficult, like you're saying, because there are these nuanced steps about, hey, blockchain, and then we're going to move it here and we're going to bridge it here. And so I find that, after a few, I always say, hey, it's like, if you know how to use Wells Fargo or Zelle Money or Cash App or Venmo, it's the same thing. It just takes a couple more steps. You do it the first few times, you're confused. You don't really know what you're doing. And then it just becomes second nature. But no, Cryptozo, I totally agree with that. The more we can educate and put the power in the hands of the people, right? All of us were able to get content of some sort to get to this point today. So we can provide that ladder for these people to climb aboard in different directions. I think that's the best. Darcy Donovan's, recent joining of the herd, and, in-person conference and any crypto events. I think all of that, the more we put our neck out there, we're undeniable. Our chart's undeniable. Our stats are undeniable.
So what do you think about that Darcy Donovan lady? Do you think she added anything to us?
So far, I mean, to be honest, I think she's just shared her Elephant Money with her following, and she says I think she has 7 million followers across her platforms. And I've seen some of her like X.com tweets and threads, and they get 3,000, 5,000 views and stuff. They get a lot of engagement. So I personally think it's in the short term, has she brought $1 million of fresh capital? Maybe not. Maybe, I don't know. But I think her influence and connections are definitely a big part of it. And ultimately, yeah, I think I don't know. I'm positive. I think any type of association or growing the herd, because it takes all types, like we say, all guys, girls, celebrities, not celebrities, community leaders, thought leaders, all these different people. So I don't know. I'm bullish. I'm positive on her adoption. I think NFTs are a big thing, like her Star Dogs project. So I think if she can get the word about NFTs, that would be really helpful. And NFTs, I think in general, I don't follow that market too closely, but same thing, low volume. But so in general, NFT market is not the hottest. So having that, it's kind of like we have all of this, all of our herd is so strong, has all these skill sets, and it's like we're ready for the rising tide. But that's my 2 cents. What do you think, though, about Darcy and her involvement so far?
I think that her tweets get more engagement than all of the other tweets that we put out almost together on a daily basis.
Yeah, I think we should get. Was she able to reach? I know you guys reached out on Telegram to her. Has she messaged back or no?
No.
We got to make a clip.
Oh, I thought you did.
No, I messaged her. I messaged her on Twitter. I messaged her or X. I messaged her on Telegram, and I haven't seen it. She hadn't responded.
I thought she wrote back and said, "Not at this time" or something like that.
No, she never replied.
Okay. All right. Well, AG, clip this. Get ready, AG. Ready? Darcy, we need you to come on Rugs to Riches. We're waiting. Please come share. If you would grace us with your presence, the Queen of Web3. please come join our show. Thank you.
Double D and R2R. Let's go.
Great. We need Darcy to come on. All right, I'm gonna drop a little piece of alpha. I'm working on a video I want to make, like I think I mentioned on, maybe it was last week or the week before, but kind of addressing, you know, if I went to make a video just to Ivan on Tech or to CZ or to, you know, XYZ, I think YouTube, right? If you make a really high quality, strong video for a person, and I think their followers will get it to them somehow. So I don't know. That's something that I'm gonna experiment with, and so I have a couple of videos where I'm calling people out and saying, "Look at elephant money, and this is why you should look at it." That's just another way I think we can maybe, because like we talk about, just like what Darcy's involvement or any of our involvements or getting any sort of marketing involved, it's about getting the word out. So the more we can get the, you know, people who, like CryptoZoe was mentioning, right? People who may not be native to crypto, it takes a little bit more work. But people who already have bags, already are involved, already are in projects, just for them to know about elephant money would be so impactful. That's the big thing. And now that Binance doesn't have the FUD, the FUD's been erased. I mean, like, come on over. The water's fine.
So I'll tell you what, the chat is cracking me up right now. So Georgia, she won a free NFT from the X Spaces.
Nice.
And, but she hasn't got it yet, so she thinks I stole it from her. Or it got lost in the interwebs.
Ed, where's that at? He's did that handstand, hit his head. You know, Ed, forget to send.
Yeah, Georgia, I talked to Ed today, and he said that he reached out to BT, and he said he was behind still. So it's coming. Just gotta wait. He's got to unlock it from those 327 he has in his account. That's a lot. He had a lot. I don't. Do you think those are his personal ones, or do you think that's the? Do you think that's the?
So I have some stats to share. I'll share some stat. If you pull up Dune Analytics, let's pull it up.
Can you screen share?
Can I? Oh, I can't. I'm so silly. I forgot. Now I'm on my PC. I can screen share.
Let me see. You're so silly.
I am so silly.
I'm silly, dude. I'm so drunk.
Let's see this. Hold on.
He's like, "What's elephant?" I forgot.
Poured one out for your pops, man. I wasn't gonna drink today. I wasn't gonna drink today.
Pouring out. Let's see.
That's a good point, sir. Just send her one.
With the unlimited, this is just something. If I made that 6-hour Dune Analytics video, me just rambling for 6 hours about random NFT pages and stats. But one thing I noticed, right, with what I presume to be, am I sharing yet? Did I screen share? I'm so sorry.
No, we don't. I don't see it yet.
Slide share, present, share screen, share. Entire screen. All right, can you see him now?
Yeah.
Okay. Here, if we're looking at the top NFT wallets, this top one, D1EC, I'm not sure. Is that him? Do you guys know off the top of your head?
Well, he has 327, or at least in the video he had yesterday.
Okay, so yeah, this one has 329. So yeah, I assume that's him.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, all of them are staked, 329, minted. But as we know, this is the whatever has the access to mint it without buying. This is what I was going to point out. Purchased. He's purchased one off the marketplace. I think that's designating marketplace purchases. But right here, BNB spent 4.8. Where's it at? There was something that I just was going to point out. I just think that what I was getting at, I think those 300 were just from his ownership and his pay. I don't think he's purchased many with this particular wallet.
So the question is, how many wallets do you think he has?
Well, I was looking at that too, Zach, before, and I think that I don't know what I think anymore. I'll just do the chat.
No worries. Yeah, just so I think you see, that's the one that he donated the 674. So
okay, so that would be the 1,000th initial wallet.
Yeah, this is the initial one. So he sold 6 of them, and Yeah, and then because right here, this is what I was going to point out though. So like someone just like in second place, right? You can see they spent 270 BNB for their 250 NFTs. So that's what I was going to point out. You know, yeah, he
Yeah.
owns a lot, but didn't purchase them just from the custody minting. But anyway, right here though, second place. See this third place. This guy has 167. They didn't mint any. This must have been a fresh wallet, all just received. See, I received.
Oh, that's BTs, 100%.
Oh, that could be it too. That's true.
Yeah.
Who maybe, but anyway, that's just a little NFT stats. You know, when I look through these, that's what, like we talked about AG, just, you know, the raw truth of the stats. It's just, there's not that much minting day to day. If we look at latest mints, right? Today, the 26th, let's see. There's a few today. Maybe there's a bunch today. Let's see right here. There was 13 minted. All right. 3 the day before, 8 the day before, 38. All right. Volume's picking up. That's good. Right. But we can definitely, you know, imagine a time where the market's a little bit warmer and we'll see, you know, 50 a day or 100 a day be the average. But overall, you know, this is a great resource for buybacks for Bertha that BNB she earns through the NFT sales. One thing I had noticed through my analysis, let me just pull up one more page real quick. If we look at the treasuries, we can see that, you know, NFTs contribute a disproportionate amount of elephant buybacks relative to like their impact. What I'm saying by that is like, right, all of that BNB that she's earning. Where's the graph? Not here. Right, all of that is going for buybacks, and versus like something like futures where there's a liability, right? She's having to sell some of her elephant to pay out sometimes. Whereas NFTs, you know, it's just one way street into her purchases. Because right here, total in the last 30 days for the elephant treasury for Bertha, right? NFTs have brought in, you know, 400 billion roughly, right? Buybacks from futures have brought in 86% of it. So we can see that futures is still the breadwinner for bringing in elephant, right? But this is what I was saying is like futures is bringing a lot of money every day, and there's a lot of people involved, right? We're still not seeing that much involvement, but look at this. It's almost, you know, what is that? 9-10% or so. So in conclusion, as NFTs get bigger, I foresee this pie chart having a larger NFT section cut off, just because the demand in the market and people reselling, etc. You know, it's already pretty healthy. And then we can see the total out, right? What she's having to pay out. Futures is here. Redemption queue. Always good to see that be a healthy amount. Let's see here. NFT APR, right? She's not having to pay out that much elephant for the NFT. So all cool stuff. I mean, so many cool stuff here. And just, I think even EMH had mentioned it recently, or someone did, but right, with Bertha and what Thomas was mentioning, right? Every day, something he checks on is seeing Bertha grow. I love this table here, right? Bertha grew 150 billion, 157, 120, and 200, right? Every day she's soaking up this liquidity, and right, we're in that accumulation mode going sideways. But I mean, it's, you know, it doesn't stop. I actually was looking for red days. I was like, hey, is there a day where Bertha loses money? Right? She's always making money. I see she's always killing it, but hey, is there a day where she's losing money? So like I went through all these pages. No, making money all the time. No. Oh, and I found some red. So there were a few days, right, where she spent 3,000, you know, net negative of the over day 24-hour period. But you know, one day she made $812. But you're right, there was these periods of time here, but I mean, very, very short-lived and very minimal. Is almost break-even days, right? Like $2,000, $500. But you know, the way the protocol is, even right now, in the quote-unquote, you know, accumulation time. See, these are back when Bertha was only making $2,000 a day, 5,000. Right now, when everyone's like, oh no, you know, things are moving slow, Bertha's making 100 grand a day, 50 grand a day, 90 grand. Right, that's what she used to make in a week. It's just evidence to the scaling of the protocol, right? If we go back to when would you guys say when Elephant was really doing the pumping? These last end of September, was it prior to beginning of October?
Yeah, it was before. Yeah.
So
October was the sell off.
So just throughout September, we can see right here, we just had, you know, 40, 50,000. she wasn't, you know, this is when humans were aggressively purchasing elephant off the market, because we can see Bertha herself wasn't growing, you know, that strongly. It was humans pushing the price up. But now that there's been that kind of exodus of, what was it, 20 trillion tokens from human holder hands to Bertha
I think
since
we're
this
at 30.
kinda 30 trillion. Wow.
Yeah.
Right. That just, yeah. Right. That just, all of that potential dumping pressure of selling pressure is now alleviated. So just so healthy. I love seeing, I think someone had made a comment earlier, and we can see up here, I think Bertha is averaging 1.5 trillion per 7-day time period. And so, you know, and even, you know, so yeah, 6 months out. I mean, let's just pull up a calculator again. Calculator. We got 1.
Yeah, one of the questions that was on Discord was, you know, when will Elephant do something? You know, and I'm like, well, we're only up, you know, 300% this year, but you know,
yeah.
I said to answer your question legitimately, Elephant will do something when people stop selling.
Yep.
Right. Over the last, since that big dump, we've literally gone sideways in the LP pool because literally humans have sold as much as Bertha has bought almost every week.
Yeah. Yep. That's spot on. Let me pull up the table that shows that. That was a great concise answer. When people stop selling, because it's really just, you know, her buying so much is really just keeping us in equilibrium right now. Let me see the LP detailed. And, you know, maybe I need to do my my burpees again, because that's right when I kind of stopped right around this. Because like I said, humans were buying up so much, it was going down, you know, 1 or 2 per day, 1 to 2 trillion. It's funny when I look back on it now, I was like, wow, we were flying through, flying down the LP. But like you just mentioned, right, we're at 100 trillion, 100, 99, 99, and then we're back at 100. And then, you know, this is us climbing from the bottom up. But we've just ranged since, you know, like you said, beginning of September, we were at 100 trillion. Where are we at right now? 100 trillion. And so, and we can even see the total value locked in the treasury, or not. Yeah, that's the treasury, you know, is roughly the same as well. 75 million about a month, 3 months ago. So, as long as, you know, that's what we're talking about, how Bertha's just eating it up. Because back then, these days, you know, she's only making 50 billion worth of elephant tokens, or, you know, 60 billion, and now she's making 300 billion in 1 day's period. She's making the progress of 5 days period, when everything was going wild. So
hey,
yeah,
Zach, what is the treasury at, and what are humans at right at the moment?
Let's pull that up. Good question. Should be on this page. Treasuries. Let me find that table again. It might be.
I know the treasury's at 192. I just didn't know what the humans are at.
Yeah. I thought it was like 206.
So they gained a little. They were at 201 before I left.
Well, it shows. Let me see where does it break that down?
It was the main page where it showed the.
Yeah, the main elephant page. It's like the very first chart.
Okay, so here you said Bertha has 192. Oh, okay, over here it'll show us, right?
Oh, it's right there. If we have 192, then yeah, the LPs are at 100. Then the humans are at 202.
Okay, where is there a way that shows that? I was just curious. That
I thought it showed it.
I just did the math because but
you've been drinking.
That's true, 100%.
Funny. Let's see. There's somewhere it might show with
it's in there.
Holders. But yeah, so that you said 192 for Bertha, 102 or 100 for human for LP, and then what do you say it was 201 for
like
human?
202, I think. Right around in there.
It's
because the graveyard's at 506.
I like the math. 506, so 100 plus
ASCO says 10 trillion away from flipping.
10 trillion. Nice. All right, I'll take your word for it. But yeah, it's gonna take a little bit. I think, like you said too, after that big sell-off kills momentum, we do accumulation. Even I saved it in my saved messages. You know, BT uploaded a picture of him drawing on a napkin where he's like, you know, this is what I foresee, you know, based off everything I know with the chart, right? And it showed exactly this, where, you know, periods of spiking up, right? Then pull back, then accumulation, parabolic, pull back, accumulation, parabolic.
When did he draw that? Right after that all happened?
Let me stop sharing for a moment. I'll pull it up. Yeah, he did it right not too long after one of those. Let me see.
Gotcha. It's easy to predict what's going to happen after it already
Right.
happened.
Yeah. Now let's see, save messages. But what did you guys think about his latest message? I think he put yesterday or 2 days ago, talking about recalling his first Bitcoin conference and meeting some individuals who later on became billionaires. What did you guys think about that?
Yeah, that's pretty.
I missed it.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I mean, it's crazy to think of in terms of decades, right? You know, like we're here now, and it's hard to picture 10 years from now.
It is.
Yeah.
You know,
what kind of hairstyle will I have?
And you'd be lucky if you have hair.
Asking the important questions. Here, let me share my screen one more time here. I got it pulled up. This is the message I was referring to. Let's see. Share screen. Yeah, but that's the kind of mindset as investor, as a financial fiduciary, as someone who's managing energy. That's how you need to think about with that in mindset. Let me see, is my screen share. So this is the picture here. This is the shape of things to come based on everything I know to date. Reach past high, take profit, then crab. Stages that feed Bertha before swing highs that feed Bertha less. Rinse and repeat. Here's the latest on futures, a way to avoid. Yep, right. And futures is the key for people who can't stomach this kind of behavior. But it's funny because BT's done a great job of understanding human psychology, and so there's a lot of wisdom in this, and it goes back to market dynamics and like trader psychology or investing psychology, right? This people go like, oh well, we just saw it happen. It's not gonna, there can't happen again, but it repeats again. And part of me almost thinks this next cycle's coming up. It might just be a repeat of what's happened these past two cycles. It just seems to move in the rhythm. But anyway, that was the picture I was referring to. 10 years though, we'll see. Well, 10 years will be on this pump. Right now we're on this pump.
Oh, hold on a second.
You're good. I already exited.
Okay.
Good.
Missed the pump.
Yeah, no worries. But
gotcha.
But I'll send you that message, AG. It's just him. It was a little voice message that BT had.
Is it on Telegram?
Yeah, it's on the pinned messages and Telegram.
If it's pinned, I'll go check it out.
2IQ0515. I didn't want to type all this out. Yes. And that's the biggest thing you need to realize is that Bertha is hardening the floor. So not the roof, but not the ceiling. So if every human holder were to sell, the price would drop to like 5 cents per million, I think was the last price I saw. Actually, I have that on the app. Hold on so that I can tell you that I have a worst case scenario app. Stress test.
Really?
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
You should share that.
I did share it to you.
Uh-huh.
If the herd sold 196.7 trillion, which is apparently where they're at, the price would be 5.2 cents per million.
And that's if all the holders.
Every human holder sold.
I probably have to go to jail too because I'd go rob a bank and I'd go do time for a few years. If
so
it goes down.
We know, and that's actually, you missed that conversation. Me and Zach had that conversation with Greg. Was where do you think the true diamond hands? Because we know that's impossible. We know that because you're not going to sell, right? You're not going to sell every single elephant you own, right? No matter what the price is doing, you're going to buy, right? We know that because the last time it dropped to 4 cents per million, we bought, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think the floor of the human holders are? As in the true diamond hands, they're not going to sell, or they've already sold what they're going to sell, because you have, your bag, and on the last video you said you'd sell about a third, right? Mm-hmm. So what do you think the true floor of the diamond hands are, if that makes sense?
Price per million? Is that what you're asking?
Quantity wise,
trillion wise.
Yeah. How many trillion do you think that humans won't sell? Because right now, what was it you just mentioned? I'm sorry, 201 trillion is what humans hold right now. 202 trillion.
That's
So
what I said, but
yeah.
this one says it's 196.7, but I don't think
Okay.
that's accurate.
All right, we'll call it 200. We'll split the difference.
Yeah.
So there's 200 trillion right now that humans
Yep.
own. How
Yep.
many AG do you think in the worst case scenario will that go down to? Because like Goldwyn just mentioned that it's not going to be the whole 200 trillion. Humans aren't going to sell all of them. Where is the true floor? Is it 100 trillion? Is it 50 trillion? Is it 10 trillion? Like, where do you think individuals, diamond-handed herd members stand?
Or a percentage is what
So if we go off of 200 trillion, half would be 100 trillion. I don't even think that's the case. Honestly, it depends on what the economics are in the world. So as of right now, we're getting ready to go in a bull market, bull run. I think we're gonna, have more people get in there. It makes me kind of feel like 200 trillion is the floor now moving forward, because we're going to gain some. Hopefully that we go up to 250, and then pull back or whatever. But if I had to pick a realistic number, 180. 180 is probably like worst case scenario, because like you said, there's going to be people and birth is going to help support it too. So
right.
Yeah. So I think because of that, Bertha holding the support, people that normally would sell because of their freaking out of, oh no, the shit's hitting the fan. I think that'll prevent that from happening a little bit. So
yeah, and actually, if we pull up the chart again, I know we're not screen shared again, but you can see. I know everybody said you can't TA elephant. Well, that's kind of flown out the window.
I'll share
right?
screen.
Yeah, share screen to just bring up the elephant price. Traditional TA showed us we hit all-time high and dropped, right? That's TA, that's human nature. Mm-hmm. So say that an elephant can't be TA'd is kind of wrong, because if you actually look, we went up, we dropped, we went up a little bit lower, we dropped, but we dropped higher. So we're coiling mm-hmm. up. You can see we're forming a bear or a bull flag. Mm-hmm. So once we break that bull flag, it's going to shoot up.
That's a giant bull flag.
It's a giant
bull. That's the biggest one I ever saw. I didn't think of it that way because I don't think of it in terms of TA. But you're right, dude. That is exact pattern where people be like, "Oh, look at this," and then the next coin goes, "Yeah."
Right. So
I'm a TA guy. No TA. I can make money.
Yeah. So
crayons with crayons.
So that's the thing is, to answer 2IQ0515's question a little bit more too, is you got to remember that Bertha is solidifying the floor, and everything above the floor is human nature, mm-hmm. right? Now there are true diamond hands. I have a large position. AG has a large position, and so does Zach. And if shit hit the fan, we're gonna sell some. But you know what? We're never gonna sell below our floor, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. That's kind of those. I'm going to take that 100 billion to the grave if shit goes south, because we see the protocol. We saw, looking at Zach's graph, when the exploit happened, me and AG had just started an elephant.
Yeah, the peak right there. Yep,
right there.
That's when we got in
3 weeks. Yeah, about 3 weeks before the exploit. And we were doing everything. We were doing everything we could to get to 10 billion, right?
Yeah.
Because
we were struggling to get to 10 billion.
Yeah, when the exploit happened, I had 6 billion. I had 6 billion elephant when the exploit happened, and when it hit the bottom, and BT said this is the best buying opportunity of your life, I had 50 billion that day.
Yeah. I added probably 30 billion to my position within a matter of 30 minutes of the crash. Right? I was talking to you, AG. I was talking to you, Goldwyn. When it all happened. So I think I think it was about 30 to 45 minutes within the hour of a crash, and I decided to pull the trigger and go for it.
Yeah, and like that is probably the best. You bought the literal bottom, you know, that right after. I was, can you still see my screen here?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is something that, you know, Thomas had mentioned where, you know, so right here, this message: Bertha isn't crying. She's eating good. Bird be like Bertha. The cabbage hands will buy back in DCA before that happens. I can't tell you how many people I've messaged, talked to, Zoom called, other clients I've worked with who have been elephant holders multiple times. They've purchased it. It went up 40%. You know, they sold a portion or they took profit. And then a month goes by, it goes up another 15%. They buy back in. And so that's definitely right here what he's mentioning. People who maybe get kind of shaken out during these times of volatility, they come back in because they now it's on their radar. They know it's a thing, and they see, they're like, they realize their mistake. They go, oh crap, you know, why'd I do that? And you know, so it's something that I've witnessed firsthand. And I think all these people who got shaken out, people who were, you know, maybe they did some deep research on elephant, they were genuinely excited. Obviously, you know, they got shaken out, they're confused, what's happening. All of these people, I think they're going to be buyers over here, over there, over somewhere on this axis. They'll eat back in. I've seen it happen firsthand.
So Georgia has to quit, or she posted it out there saying that I had charts in my office hanging up on the wall that I made, but they were not TA charts. What it was I made a calendar.
The Stampede chart.
The Stampede chart, yeah. So I was like, okay, in 24 months, I'll be making X amount of money through Stampede. And then the exploit happened and that shit went out the window. So I just threw that shit away. I was like, damn it.
Dude, that's good to have. You better go uncrumple them because, like you said, when Trunk gets back, it'll be there or be different.
It'll be different. So I have to redo it, but it was pretty cool. I had it color
coordinated.
Yeah, color coordinated. And you know, each month I'd be like, all right, I'm going to be making $500 and something a day for this month, and then the next month I'll be making X amount of dollars. To where like I was making like $3,000 a day. It was sweet. And then BT changed the code and everything. So I was like, damn it.
Damn that.
But
it's coming, man. All I can say, I was probably making between like $2,000 and like $12,000 a day during these days. I was ridiculous. And it's like, so I was saying is like, yeah, man, don't worry, you know, you'll get there. Don't throw away your hopes and dreams. But it scales so fast, you know. I keep stressing this enough, guys. It's so small. Like when we look at those numbers, like 1,000. You know, we talked about Trumpet a little bit. That's what I was talking about. Trumpet and NFTs, all of these is just so small. It's like a new restaurant opened up, and you know the owner, so they invite you out, and everything's free. Everyone to try everything. Right. That's how I feel with Elephant Money. This bank just opened up and we know the owner, his name is BT, and he invited us in to try out all the different products, and like, it's amazing. That's the true, honest, like impression, you know, kind of feeling I have. We're like, you know, when there's a party or an event, you know, the people who set it up and there's a few early guests, like that's who we are. We're the early guys in the room and girls. Because right now in Trumpet, 1,728, this kind of is what, you know, what he was recommending to you, AG, is to really consider that farm, because right now, Trunk APR is 92% and growing, and even just Trumpet's price itself is going up. So it's something to definitely consider, because this is what I was getting at too, real quick, right? If right now only 10 million Trunk is in the contract, but if we do get back to everything full steam, whether it be 6 months, 12 months, whatever, right? This is going to balloon 10x the holders easily, easily. And that, it's just it's going to be another cash flow engine of the protocol. And we can see from its adoption, right? This is how majority of new products, right? Big hype at the beginning, big adoption. And then, right, it's just because it's not the focus right now. So 1 or 2 or 3 new accounts.
So you were here last week, and I told you I was about $1 billion away from hitting my goal of Elephant. Well, I'm closer to about 300 million from hitting my goal.
Wow.
So probably tomorrow I'll hit my goal. Once that happens, I'll have some extra money. Should I buy Trunk and put it in the Trumpet, or should I start funding futures?
Good question. Good question. For me, so let me ask you, because like you seemed like you really liked that. You printed out that schedule. You really liked that cash flow. I mean, who wouldn't want that, right?
Mhm.
Are you really trying to spend this money in the next 365 days? If we had this, if we didn't talk for another year from now, have you touched the money out of the account?
No, it's in there building.
So with that in mind, then I mean, I think I might maybe favor Trumpet a little bit if you're trying to hold out for a year. Futures definitely helps, but let me tell you what's something better than starting a futures. Let me tell you something that's better. Filming this podcast, telling a friend about Elephant Money, right? Those are the best ways. It's great to contribute and build a futures yourself, but like we talked about, there's 2,000 people, and you should definitely have a futures, like BT has mentioned before, because by having $200 a future account, right, that increases the stats, which helps you as well. But it just goes back to what your plan is, just given what I know of your portfolio and your holdings. I would say start your futures, but maybe focus on Trumpet, maybe start focusing on building that, because
Well,
that's
I think
something.
there's DCA into both, right? You have a futures. So if you
Mhm.
just throw in $200 a month, right, it's going to compound on itself. I started my futures in January with $400, and it's now at 12,000.
Yep.
Right? I haven't been going gangbusters. I haven't been adding thousands of dollars into that account. I've been DCA 200 here and there. I started off pretty heavy. I was DCAing weekly because that's where I was allocating my funds to. But once it got to a certain point, that I went to 2 weeks, then I went to 3 weeks. Now I'm on 4 to 5 weeks, and now my 200 deposit is putting $1,200 into that account.
Yep.
Right? So the three, if you're DCAing weekly, you get 3 weeks you DCA it to Trumpet or whatever, or wherever you want to go. And when you just roll your futures. Your futures is exactly it. It's futures.
I like that. I like that. Yeah, because like you're mentioning, there's that time component of it. So if you're not looking to touch it, yeah, just start building it, start growing it, start watering it, whether it be once a month, once every 6 weeks, maybe, if that's what you can afford. But for me personally, right, with any fresh capital, because I like I'm not looking to kind of build my spending money right now. I'm not looking to build my to the biggest level it could be, right?
Mhm.
So I'm still buying elephant. So even if you hit a number amount, a goal, right, just consider that too. Maybe still buy. Let's just give a number out in the air. Let's say $300 a month is your, or let's just say 400. $400, put it easy. $100 a week is what you put away to invest in your future. Right. Let's say 200 of that goes to futures once a month. Then maybe 100 goes to elephant, and then 100 goes to Trumpet or something like that, or whatever division you want to cut it up to. Or maybe like, yeah, you mint NFTs one
Well,
month,
this
and the next month you roll futures, right? So
yeah,
just,
I think this goes into what sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
no, you're fine. You're fine.
That goes into what Cryptozoa asked earlier. Let's see, I'm gonna try to bring it back up. About what is your yeah, it was really far up there.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's like, what's your strategy?
Yeah,
Aggressive,
what's your
growth
allocation? Yeah.
focused. Yeah. And,
And
and for,
to be honest, I think we're all diamond hands at this point. We're in all of we're in all aspects of elephant. But if we budgeted out, I would think the three of us would fall into diamond hands, even though
yeah.
we have futures accounts and have NFTs and have uh, Trumpet and Stampede. But if you average it all out, I would think the three of us would all be diamond hands.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think
I
that's,
have no plans of selling. I have plans of taking profits, but honestly, they're so far out. Like
Yeah.
I gotta wait
Well,
till Trump gets back to peg, then I'll start taking profits on that aspect. But that's probably,
yeah. Well, have you
I don't
seen
know when
that?
it's coming back.
Have you seen that chart, AG, where it has
Which
the four pie charts talking about how your
Mhm.
distribution is?
Yeah.
So diamond hands would mean your 90% elephant or whatever you want to call it,
Mhm.
I,
and
I want
10% other.
Yeah,
to,
I'm about 90% elephant, I would say.
Yeah.
80% maybe.
and this is a little bit dated now. So this is the beginning of October. But this was a thing that Crypto Stew showed. And this is why I'm just so bullish the token itself, and I will sell, I'm buying the elephant token I buy today. Let's say I buy 1 billion right now, right? I will sell 500 million of that, when we do a 10x, right? Like, that's kind of how my strategy, I'm constantly building my quantity with the intention to sell a small portion of it in the future. But the reason why because we keep talking about this whole night, it's just these LPs, we saw just in 4 months time how much they got squeezed, right? 240 trillion tokens. And just in a short time period, it got squeezed out to what we got down to 100 or so, whatever it was. Yeah, right here, 50. We're at 100 right here after all that. So this behavior, we got to have a joyous few months there where it was really being squeezed, but it's going to happen again, and we're just getting closer and closer. As Bertha was at 179 trillion back then. It's just so crazy to see we're at 192. And the participants, like you just mentioned, is down another, because we're at 202, or let's say 200, so about 15 trillion less. While this still equation looks the same, that you could just color this blue right here, cut this little slice off. That's Bertha's now, and these are still the same. So we'll experience. That's what I'm always preparing for. Like, is this? This is
a great quote. DCAing is the way. My futures buys NFTs, which DCAs my elephant. That's spectacular.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I mean, we talk about this so often, but what other protocol? I mean, I'm not in any other crypto protocols where I'm actively looking to recycle and rebuild my position with earnings, right? A lot of times during the bull run of the previous one, right, I would often take any, profit yield, either whatever, being an LP provider, whatever, and build my position. Nowadays, especially in the bear, I'm like, I'm trying to, not maybe think about this long term. Elephant is built in a way where every single participant is thinking long term, right? That whole thought process I was just going through, it can't exist. You're diamond hand in some regard, in some fashion. So it's a great time to be building, right? This is right. We're built. All of us, like you said, you were buying down here, buying all during this time, DCAing, and we're just kind of entering that similar. Hopefully, it doesn't take 6 months of this. I don't think it will. I think we're just gonna keep having these sensitive boom until we spike up. It's all about the herd.
If only I bought more down there.
Listen, I crack up in our conversations. I'm not buying anymore if it hits 10 cents. When it hits 10 cents, I'm not buying anymore.
That's literally, we're like, we're done. We're no more.
We're done.
Then we'd buy more.
That's
I remember when AG was 2/3 of what his bag is now. I'm done.
Yeah. It just goes to show like how early we are. It's I mean, I told I'm serious about this. If it dropped, 50%, we're back down to whatever 20 cents per million. Or if it doubles, if we go up to 80 cents per million, when I look at the numbers, the physical numbers, okay, there's 33,000 holders. There's 10,000 with over a billion elephant, right? There's 9,500 right now. I just think about my high school graduation class, or I think about the church I go to. There's that many people, the McDonald's I go to for breakfast. That's how many people come through in one morning. Like when it comes to what we're at, what building, what location we're at, it's just like it's prime and ready. The foundation's set, the concrete is hardened. So that's what I always get excited about, and why I like to be an educator and do this kind of stuff, is to get this number up. That's what, like BT talks about, right? Price is just price. Who knows, right? It literally goes up and down, woozy, wazy. No one knows which way. But what we can count on is this number, the each one teach one, the people, being educated about the system.
Yeah, I give it probably July of 2025 will be the peak of the next bull run. I think, dude, this thing is on fire. Price is going to be crazy. I could be wrong. Not financial advice, but I'm putting my money where my mouth goes.
The numbers don't lie. You're not just pulling hopium. there's people in Drip or Pulse or X or Hex or any other DeFi project who they're going to tell you, oh, it's going to 5x when 500, when a million more people come here. Where this, I'm like, okay, well, I mean, if we just keep staying the course, I mean, we're going to go up because Birth is, blah, blah, blah. And if we, if the word gets out about how amazing this protocol is, I mean, the sky is the freaking limit. Yeah. So it's exciting. But yeah, what else you guys got going on?
Well, did you hear the voicemail? This was a big thing on Discord when I got back off the boat. Was BT's message about him kind of railing against somebody that put a futures stat out saying that once you hit like 11,000, now you can take out 600, and then
He got kind of
Ooh, tell me about that. I missed it. I saw deleted messages. I saw him talking about futures. We need fresh capital. Yeah.
So a guy, I was gonna say a guy put out there. I think it was 17,000.
Yeah.
I think he was like, if you put in 17,000 of your own money, then at that point you could take your first payment and then take $200 and roll it, and then you don't have to feed $200 anymore. It's self-sufficient.
Yeah, I see. So someone trying to just use their compound and trying to put it in. I see.
Yeah.
So what in Discord, I've had this argument a million times in the FUD channel. Like, that's where I spend my time on Discord. And we didn't even talk to Crypto T, and he's like the moderator of Discord.
I know. I want to bring up Discord. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
So I've been in there a lot, but I usually just hang out at the FUD channel and kind of teach people the truth when they spew lies. It's actually pretty respectable. They're not complete douchebags. But anyway, so a lot of people are like, oh, well, it's just, taking money. It's robbing Peter to pay Paul, And so when BT said that, he basically told everybody that they were right, which is not true based off of the fact that when you withdraw that $600, that is a negative off your total deposits. So that's your money. If you were to take that $600, put it in your bank account, wait a month, bring it back and give it back to Bertha. Bertha doesn't know that $600 came out of her purse. That $600 is then buys new elephant and sticks it back into her purse. So, I get the point. Is at some point in time, Bertha sells a little bit to pay people out. And then if you're just using that money to give it back to her, she's selling and then buying back. Well, she's selling a little bit of elephant that she bought a year ago to make those payments. And then she's now buying new elephant for the next year, right? So because the way futures is set up, in my opinion, because you subtract that $600 from your total deposits, it's your money, right? What happens if I take $50,000 out and then I start a second wallet? Where's that 50,000 going to? It's going to go back to Bertha. She's going to buy elephant for the next year to pay that wallet. Yeah. So,
I'm on your team, Goldwyn. Yeah, like you said, he gave the fudders ammunition, but I follow your logic, and it is the case. How is she paying out 0.5%? How is this sustainable? This thing is a Ponzi. The whole trick to the system is, like you just pointed out, Bertha buys that elephant. She fills that placeholder in the ladder of price. Here's the price. There's a chart, right? She bought this elephant, and like you said, she held on to it for a year. Other humans buy on top of her and they sell on top of her. All of this happens. And then that price, now we're up here, right? She bought it down here. She sells a quarter of it to then pay out your dues. And like you said, if you take that 200 and put it in, now she buys this ladder of the rung, right? So fundamentally, like you're saying, it's not, it's fresh capital. It is. And, fundamentally, I understand what BT's saying, because it does not add additional energy to the economic, cooperative, but at the same time, it functions the same. Its behavior and utility is the same. So yeah, I think the whole thing is not to popularize methods of full, like of being the most optimal user of the thing, but like you said, this is DeFi, power to the player. right? If you're an individual who figures out a strategy and or some sort of the best, alpha, then act on it, right? There's no shame in that. That's the whole point of investing, is to win and to make money. So, but yeah, I'm for you, Goldwyn. I think he's just trying to, have that public image and let people know that it's powerful, because there are people who are still looking for that. I got an ROI in 100 days, or I got that they don't see this as an account that they now have for the rest of their lives. That they're just like they have a bank account, just like they have a cell phone bill, just like they have a water bill, just like they have whatever these things are that they live with and they use every day because they bring tremendous value to their lives. They don't recognize that this is just another one of those systems. So I think he's just trying to be at the figurehead and lay down what is the culture. So, but I agree with you. It made you. He gave you more work in the chat. He said Goldwyn's his fingers getting too cold. You gotta get. But I did want to bring up Discord. We got to get Thomas back on here, because I would like to hear his opinion of the type of investors he runs into. I would like to hear more from you. How do you think they vary? People who come through the Discord medium versus Telegram medium. How do you feel that having the different channels, the FUD channel, this channel, that, how do you feel all of that either helps the protocol? Does it help more nuanced conversations? Does it help catalog information better? Like, do you think there should be more? Because oftentimes, sorry, one last thing I'll add, Discord, I think, is my generation, 20 somethings younger than me, 18, 17, 19, they all know Discord. I know Discord. I'm probably the least out of my friend group.
I don't know it at all.
They live on it. And even when I was at Lockheed Martin, they had Slack, they had Teams, Microsoft Teams, but they also had a Discord. They had me try to bring Discord. I was like, we're not using Discord. It's a chat room. That's all it is. And they're like, what is Discord? But anyway, but I was going to say is, I think it is, Telegram is the main hub, but I think Discord is still a untapped potential, just because familiarity, people go to other crypto projects, other Discords. So I'm not too active, like I said, but I just know there is a huge, massive energy and people. So sorry, what do you think about Discord, Goldwyn?
I think the people on Discord tend to be newer people. So because they know Discord more than they know Telegram. So that they seem to be greener in some way, shape, or form. The biggest thing is that BT's not supporting Discord. And if he would just relinquish it to the herd and let us run it, or give us more access to it to where we can moderate it more. Because right now, really, CryptoTN is the only one in there that can delete scammers. I mean, it's amazing how many, and I just tag them every time, scammer, scammer, scammer. Because now they create support tickets, the scammers can. So as soon as anybody says help, it's like a bot that automatically says elephant.money support ticket. And if they don't know, they click on it and then it's bam, they're done. Yeah. So it's like every day. And I feel like I've reached a pinnacle. I've now been a hacker. Like somebody messaged me and said, "Hey, you just sent me a message." I said, "No, I didn't."
Oh, yeah. Hey, you made it.
Yeah, you made it. That's your.
Oh, speaking of that, so when I was getting this show set up, I put in the description from Rugs to Riches, and someone else is using our logo.
Oh, those motherfuckers.
Yeah, they have 3.1 million followers, though, or subscribers.
What?
Oh, yeah,
I was like, damn.
That's like crazy.
Yeah, I'll find it and I'll send it to you, but not publicly, because I don't want people to go to the wrong channel. But it was weird that they stole our logo, but they have so many subscribers.
Hey, you got quality. It's the crown. It's the beautiful outlay. It's symmetrical.
Was it one of the other? Because when we were picking the name, we knew because we had to use the underscore. So are they the underscores or just the Rugs to Riches?
Let me see if I can find it.
That would be funny if it was just one of the original ones and they liked our shit better.
With CryptoZoe right here, I dislike Discord, but I know some folks like it. 80% of my team voted against adopting it for my group. Yeah,
3 million fake followers, 100%.
Yeah, it's man, the scammers and all of that. There's got to be a day of.
I tell you what, man, the scammers are super bad on Discord. As bad as they might seem on Telegram. Telegram has better controls that I've seen on Discord, but I don't know if behind the scenes, like if we had more access to ownership rights or something. And it took a long time to just get a channel added. We were Thomas had been the Discord for months and months and months, and like so many people are like, "Hey, make this dude a moderator so he can, at least delete people."
Mm-hmm. Who do you think would you say is BT's right-hand man? Does he have one? Is there anyone for him to delegate? I know he mentions he has some people who delegate other article writings and such, but is there anyone you think that he in the herd that he would be willing to maybe make like a community manager, someone like you're mentioning, someone who needs to maybe have a heavier hand on the day-to-day operations while he's thinking of the global perspective?
Are you in the secret group?
I'm not. I've heard there is like another Telegram or Discord. I'm not
Yeah.
sure what it is, but I'm not in the whatever
I
you
know
call
like
it.
Stu and EMH and SK, Jed, Thor. I know all of them are in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
So
that's
probably one of
kind.
them.
I think that's his kind of sounding board. I don't know who's all in there. I think it's just the moderators or something.
Yeah,
But
it would be nice because like we talked about this a little bit, but like the as we grow and such, BT has so much responsibilities, like you're saying, like just to find the time to figure out, go to Discord, gotta look up a tutorial, how do you add someone as a like all those little things, as they always take longer than it's just a button click. No, it's not what you gotta do. So I mean, yeah, it's some things I think could help. Like we talked about marketing wise, and I know we have a marketing team on X.com. I think Josie is she the announcer? Is that her name, Josie? If I recall.
yeah,
Like there's so many, I think, opportunities that like I said, BT can't handle them all just from a 24-hour time period. Sometimes. Yeah.
listen, dude, I might be a little drunk and sick. I think I'm gonna have to bounce.
Uh-oh.
I tried looking it up, and I think that was a glitch with YouTube.
Was it?
They had used your profile or something on their channel.
Yeah, I think it was a glitch with YouTube, not actually theirs. Because I found it again, but it wasn't the same logo anymore.
Uh-huh.
So, but they come up under the listing right underneath us. So I think our logo just populated.
Shifted down.
Yeah, shifted down.
Yeah.
I was in a rush trying to get everything set up. So
no worries. I had a glitch for YouTube right now. Always any video I go to, it has 3 likes. I'm like, what? Like I'll click a video and it's like just some probably
That's
UI
weird.
mess up. But
all right, guys, let's call it a night.
Let's do it.
It's been great talking with you guys. Crypto TN, you're not here anymore, but thanks for coming on the show.
I appreciate you, sir. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, Cryptozoa, if you're still here, I'll invite you to the podcast group tomorrow. So look for a link. It'll be coming to you.
Yep. And Zach, next week you're gonna have to get your YouTube going so we can stream simultaneously.
Goodness, I forgot to click the live today. We'll do it. You're right. Next, I'll be a little bit quick earlier next time, and let's get it live on my channel too. I definitely need to do that.
Yeah, spread the word. Each one teach one.
That's right. Each one teach one. Let's go, EM.
All right. Peace.
Peace.